There's a lot to love about footy. The hangers, the hits, the highlights.
The Jackie Chan in midair.
It's about winning.
Bloody winkus piss.
This weekend, that's exactly what your team will do.
Stuck it right up them. That's what you did.
18 clubs will sing the song, arm in arm, or from a safe social distance, as we relive some of the best wins your team has ever had. From deep in the archives to modern classics. A live recall of Lockett taking on the Swans and their cheer squad. Plus a live recall of the heart-stopping prelim between the Blues and the Bombers. We all need a win right now.
Back to back to back.
So this weekend, you'll get one.
Mark this date down, Western Bulldogs fans.
Your team wins on Fox Footy.
That's what the crowd wanted.
Hello and welcome to Friday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by the Ford Ranger. We hope you're safe and well at home. We're looking forward to bringing you a clash from 1994, Sydney and Saint Kilda. We've got Jason Dunstall and Nick Rewalt here to go through the game with us. Dwayne Russell will be recalling all the action. Great to see you both. As we look back at footy in 1994, things were very different. The Bombers were reigning premiers. Our good mate Alistair Lynch had just left for the Bears on a 10-year deal, $300,000 a year. The final system went from 6 to 8, but the bench had gone up from 2 to 3. And Dermot Brereton was spending his last year in the AFL at the Sydney Swans. Now, Jason, he would miss 14 weeks for 2 separate incidents.
Yeah, no great surprise there. What were you doing way back in 94, Rui?
94, I was on the Gold Coast. I was playing footy for the Broadbeach Cats and I was collecting footy cards. Oh, no. Jason. Footy. So James is big into footy cards at the moment. He loves footy. He obviously can't go and he can't play at the moment, but he's collecting the footy cards. So he asked me during the week, Dad, did you have footy cards when you were a kid? So they took some finding, but I actually went through and I can't believe I found it. But there's Go Cats is because I played for the Broadbeach Cats, and there's my 1994. We're doing a game from 94 tonight. Footy card folder. So I've got all the footy cards in there. No surprise. I went for Hawthorn as a kid, so I've got a couple pages of Hawks in there.
There we go.
Have a look at this guy.
Close it up. Put it away.
Guy?
Put it away.
The Chief.
You should get him to sign it for
Don't
you.
worry.
Don't devalue them,
I'll
Jonesy.
get him to sign it. So I had those. We went through and we found a couple special ones. Some players that'll be featuring tonight. So there's an ex-teammate of mine, Big Bucket Slow, Plugger. Tonight we have the Plugger Show. Jack Daniels, before he made his way down to St Kilda, and have a look at one of Fox Footy's own.
Oh, the babyface Mark Rasciuto.
How's the dude?
He looks 14.
Jason?
Chris Scott is a rookie.
We are going back, but this was my pride and joy in 1994. It's been in a case ever since. There's a Jason Dunstall legend card. I'm not sure what it would be worth, but
Very little.
Millions.
Very little.
if you would
Millions.
do me the honour of putting an autograph on it later, Jason.
Ooh, you might devalue it, mate, I'm telling you.
No, I mean, this is...
The love is real.
This has just been
love is
kept
real.
in mint condition for
Jace,
a long, long time.
You're our guru on pop culture. What was happening in the world in the 90s?
Oh, plenty, Sarah. To give you a quick snapshot of the sporting landscape in Australia, Adelaide City won the NSL. Canberra Raiders beat Canterbury in the New South Wales Rugby League Premiership, it was then.
Was that Mal?
Yeah, Big Mal led him in his last year.
Yes.
Brazil won the World Cup. We won our first ever Winter Olympics medal at Lillehammer in Norway when our short track speed skating team took bronze in the 5,000 metre relay. That's huge.
That is huge.
Boy bands were at the peak of their powers. Love Is All Around by Wet 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 from the Four Weddings and a Funeral was the #1 song in Australia. All for One, I Swear, was #2. It's All Right, E17 was #4.
E17.
Ace of Base had the number 5
yes.
song, The Sign. A couple of other songs you'd love. Remember that politically incorrect song by Dennis Leary, A-Hole?
Oh, yeah.
That was big then.
Yeah.
Boom Boom Shake the Room by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. One of the first times we got to see a young Will Smith break into things. And Zombie by the Cranberries was huge.
Big.
Oh, mate, so many things. Blue Heelers made its premiere. The X-Files premiered. Frasier premiered. The AFL Footy Show premiered. So there was a lot happening. Box office movies. What do you reckon the number one movie was? It was
Forrest Gump.
The Lion King. Forrest Gump was number 2, Sarah.
Well done, James.
True Lies 3, The Mask, number 4, Speed, number 5.
The Lion King.
Yeah, and Pulp Fiction made the top 10. And that was the first ever indie movie to surpass $100 million at the box office. Ended up taking $213 million.
Good year for movies.
It was, very good. Shawshank Redemption, another one.
Yes.
Wow.
Everywhere.
If I'm ever on a quiz show,
won an
Jason's
Oscar?
my call.
Oh, I didn't have a look. But I got some other gems that we'll feed in later on too.
From 94.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
It'll be happening.
You are the pop culture king.
I'm just old enough to remember.
Well, here are the Sydney Swans cheerleaders cheering them out onto the arena there. Derek Kickett had just left the Bombers to join Sydney, and Ron Barassi was coaching in his second year, Jace.
Yeah, didn't have a great year, just one win in his first year, Brass coming back, and at this stage they'd won 5 games out of their last 48, a young Jason Mooney at fullback. What a great job that will be, getting Tony Lockett as a 19-year-old. Good luck to you there.
Scotty Waters.
Yeah, they had a mix of experience and youth there at that time, but they were basically rebuilding.
All right, on to the Saints. Nick, your old club.
Mighty Saints.
Led by Spud Frawley, but there are some legends alongside him in Lowe, Burke and Nicky Winmar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. I'm excited to see some of my old teammates in younger stages of their careers. So Stewie Lowe is lining up for game 163. Nathan Burke, game 147. Both obviously went on to play 300 game for the Saints. Justin Peckett in just his 23rd game.
Who was the guy on the bench? W. Thornborough.
Not sure. not sure about that one, James.
Oh, look at the monster. He's a man mountain, isn't he?
Look at him.
Our Chemist Warehouse player in focus is Tony Lockett. Of course, will go on to become a Hall of Fame legend, and he is in everything this evening, Jace.
And
that's you know what? He's mirroring your pre-game routine. Go out there and do some strides around.
Well, one thing he did do before the game, I spoke to Stewie Lowe last night, is he threw up before every game.
Yeah, Dermot used to do that.
Anxiety, he would throw up just quietly off to the side. Just part of his pre-game routine.
Wow. Well, he nailed his on-game routine, didn't he? He certainly didn't.
We get the full show tonight.
We do. We do.
A bit of everything.
Awesome. We'd love to know what you were thinking at home throughout this evening. Make sure you get involved by hashtagging Fox Footy, Instagram, Twitter. It is so much more fun when players who are involved in the game let us know what was going on. They know the inside stories, don't they, Jace? That's what
they do, and we want them to tell us some of the things that actually happened. The inside stories would be great.
Some of your old teammates too, Nick, might be able to let us know what was happening out there in the middle. We are all craving some live sport. We have darts coming to Fox every day. Every day on Fox Sports 5:05 starting this Saturday, 18th of April. You do have to get up pretty early, Jace. You're not an early bird, I don't think, but...
That's what IQ's for, Sarah.
Well, and also from Monday the 20th, there will be a 2-hour replay at 10 a.m. daily. That is right in your wheelhouse. Well, IQ, and when you get up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when the rest of us have lived a whole day, you can watch it then.
What a life. What a life. Oh, Jace.
We see a bit more of Jace. We see a bit more of Jace later tonight. He will be taking the reins of Bounce. Ooh, yes. Andrew Gaze, Moons and Shani Layton will be in. Plenty of laughs coming up on Bounce after the footy.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox.
So welcome to 1994, round 7, SCG Mother's Day. Great to have your company. We're underway. St Kilda and the Swans. Quick kick forward. The Legend of Lockett game. Stay tuned for this one. This is an absolute ripper. Dispossessed early. Tackle laid by Higgins. Doesn't come out initially. And Peter Kaven there in the number 26 screaming for a free. He didn't get. We'll get a ball up.
We mentioned earlier, interchange bench went to 3. The final system went to top 8. It's also the first year we had 3 umpires out on the ground.
Ruck contest infringement. Little handoff was okay. Bailey got it off. Little wobbler towards Lockett. His outstretched arms can't trap it. Mooney gets back. Jason Mooney loops it over to Daniels.
Jack
runs on the redhead. Wobbles one towards the wing. Little mongrel and the mark.
Lace out.
Taken beautifully by Hepburn.
Hit his shin.
Hepburn, Stewie Lowe's gone down. He shook him off nicely, hands it up to Rose, who blasts it long and getting back, not able to take the marker. Young Shane Wakeland, Kickett's got it. Kickett hands it up. Waters, Hepburn, loose it back to Bays, dragged down by Lowe. Vidovic with the handball. Christian Bardsley can't collect it. Finally got it back to Burke. Heads back towards half forward. No mark able to be taken, but a nice collect by Bailey. Little roller towards Lockett. Just stalking Peter Kaven. Couldn't get near him then. Diving in Daniels with Lockett. Intense start. Handed out by Bailey. Got it to Nicky. And Nicky Elvis Winmar sprays that one, but a free kick's been found.
Plugger just picked someone up and dumped him. He couldn't get the ball. He ran into a player. He said, "You'll do."
The ball was about 10 metres away. That's ominous.
If he made the effort, he wanted to do something, Plugger. I love it.
You said 2 to 3 umpires earlier. Did you notice an increase in the standard of umpiring? Serious question.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Not really, if that makes sense. I mean, maybe they were able to cover more territory, but it didn't help free kicks for forwards, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, have a win.
Shaw got it to Bardsley. Kick smothered by Paul Kelly. Back to Shaw. Kick smothered again. In that congestion. Pretty hot start at the moment. Keogh can't get it out. Bays stalking it, and Christian Bardsley quite content to take it out. Recent history between these clubs is an interesting one. Sydney's recent form coming in, not great.
Oh, look at that. They had 145 points a game kicked against them last season, and they've lost 26 in a row. So you can understand if the skills aren't quite the cream of the crop tonight, because we're looking at one of the bottom teams.
Well, they are the bottom team with 1 win out of the first 6 games for the season.
And they only won 1 last year.
Yeah, St Kilda not much better. They're third last with 2 wins from their first 6.
Yeah, the Swans coming off a 1-win, 19-loss season the previous year.
What it does mean is both teams turn up thinking we can win this game.
Bays heads toward half forward. Hepburn there with that young Shane Wakeland. Free kick. Paul Kelly, little chip wide.
Number 33 there, Wakeland.
Daniels goes wide. Almost Minton Connell.
Loafy
runs back on it, collects it, but he falls. Ducks into Peckett for the high free, not given. Kick it. He'll have a shot. You can guarantee that. He's bent it, but not enough.
What'd you call Minton Connell?
Loaf. He came to Hawthorn. He got a massive head on him. Massive loaf of bread.
Cheerio to you, Loaf.
Long with the big forehead. Good fella. Ripper bloke, Loafy.
So Minton Connell's 32nd game for Sydney. Moved to the Swans as part of that Greg Williams trade with Carlton. And here's David Grant.
Played a game of golf with Granny recently.
He was a star, actually. He was a long-time servant.
All the guys that I did play with that overlapped through this career speak really highly of this man.
And he heads wide towards the boundary. Tried to actually, did they try to trade him 2 seasons before this? I think they did. Lowe's claimed the mark. He's not being paid and he's not happy. Big Stewie. Buckets.
Of course, this was about the time he was taking 4,000 marks a year, wasn't he? He had enormous hands and a great work rate.
Yeah, #1 for marks in the competition the previous season heading into this. Not a massive crowd here at the SCG, must be said. Just around 9,200. But as the boys told you, Swans haven't won for a while, so they're not pulling the crowds at this point in time. Big Rose bent down to pick it up. Nicky Elvis Winmar collects it. Back out to the wing. Luff gets there with a fist. Tried to knock it away. Unsuccessful. Bailey. Inboard to Bardsley. He's getting plenty of it. Launches it in the Lockett direction. And he's put another one down behind play, Tony. And given the free kick to Mooney.
He's getting frustrated early. That doesn't bode well for the opposition.
Jason Mooney with the task. Heads out wide. Little chip kick toward half forward is delightful.
Oh,
Here's
Leon Higgins before, wasn't it?
Gets a fair bit of it in this game, Leon Higgins, in the 47 he's wearing. Kick smothered from Luff. Kick back towards half forward by Bardsley. Good collecting the turn inside by Fode. Rolls it inside 50. Kelly gets in the hole though. Stole it. Mooney started well, although that mongrel towards the wing wasn't so great. McRae launches it long. Frawley there, Spud Frawley, ball to the back. Burke, Minton, Connell. And he's quite content to take that out, Darren Burke. Jumper out.
The long socks.
Yeah.
They don't exist anymore, do they?
They're all up. Everyone's got them up.
Lazar Vidovic doing the ruck work against Hepburn. Scrambled away from the boot of Greg, but it's out on the full.
Well, we're always brought up, Rui, if you can't be a footballer, at least look like one.
Yes.
So they always wanted you to pull your socks up.
Do you have any sort of team rule or?
No, most of the time we had a big blue one day. We were taking the club photo one day, and Gary Ayres wouldn't pull his socks up. Mind you, when you see his calves, he couldn't have got the socks over them.
Platt's wore them down too.
It was a standoff. Yeah, Rat did.
Johnny Platten's wearing them down. They can be worn down. Hepburn, second attempt at it. Daniels attacks it. Bayes bangs it back towards full forward. Lewis is down there. Fist comes, knocks it away. And here's Danny Spud Frawley.
Go Spud.
From fullback. Pumps it towards halfback. And Nicky Winmar on the move. Collects it nicely with some cool style. Has a little bounce. Heads toward half forward and getting there in the hole. Taking a good grab yet again was Robert Neal, actually, that was. Not the scratcher, that's another Robert Neal. Waters across to Big Rose. The Big Red Rose went down. Hands it out wide to Daniels. Lewis Norman to the target. Yeah, have a word to the cameraman, can you, Ken? To try and get that mark on. You can flick it on. Dale Lewis to line up from the pocket.
A very talented player, Dale Lewis. Left footer, flexible, could play on ball. A proven goal kicker. And we need a little bit of class just to get this game going.
All right, the first straight kick of the afternoon. We've got a goal. Dale Lewis gives it to us.
That was his first kick in league football. First kick in league football for Dale Lewis. And he opens with a goal. What a beauty.
Lined up alongside David Grant. All right, back in the middle. Rose and Vidovic. Big Lazar in the middle. Kelly on the run. Fantastic. Pumps it towards the hot spot. Spud Frawley had a little piece of it to Burke. Low. Back towards the wing. Tap down by Shaw. Gets his own work back. Nathan Burke inside. Greg. There's Plugger. Now a little don't argue. Push off on Kaven, who slung him. Back to Plugger in the pocket. And he's kicked that across the face. And the crowd pretty happy with that. Out on the full. There you go.
The fan in the background there too. He's right into it.
Oh, you can hear him. I'll give one piece of advice to the fans. Don't poke the bear.
Robert Neal to Bayes. Winmar from behind. Daniels harasses him. Nicky tried to keep it in front. I think he's won himself a free. It'll come back. Greg has to go and give it back to him. So Winmar about to send it towards attacking 50. Love those fashions as well. 1994, round 7, SCG. Lockett in the pocket, and he's got it. Just threw a little elbow out late as well.
Protection. That was for protection,
yes,
Dwayne.
of course. Self-preservation. You've got to look after yourself.
Now have a look at this kicking style. If you ever wanted to show kids a kicking technique to follow, to aspire to, this would be it.
So the Man Mountain, big Plugger. In the legend of Lockett game, the 1994 round 7 Mother's Day clash at the SCG. Great to have your company wherever you're watching. And the greatest goal kicker in the history of the game has kicked it out on the full 2 times in a row.
It's already had a couple pings.
It's very unplugger-like, isn't it? But he'll fix that up. Gee, they're still sledging him. You can hear them.
Kelly heads wide. Daniels goes up, ball falls to the back. Burke thumps it back. Vidovic falls, Rose toward McRae. Burke lays the tackle, comes back for the kick for Bailey. Back into the hole, Bardsley got there. Mooney, nice collect, he started well, Mooney.
He has.
Wide to Kelly, a little too wide. Kelly, I think he's a little cooked there.
He's only playing his 22nd game. Mooney.
Yep.
How nervous would a young player have been getting the news early in the week that you were going to play on Plugger?
He didn't sleep. Talking to Moons.
Is that right?
Cameron Mooney told us he found out early in the week and did not sleep.
There's the odds.
Biggest challenge in football. And even worse when you start well knowing that Plug is getting angrier and angrier.
And you've been leaking goals left, right and centre the whole season. Punctuate from Brunton in the 13 for the Swans. Grant. Shaw can't collect it. Little Scotty Waters there in the number 10 for the Swans, who ends up coaching St Kilda. Blasted forward, half forward. Burke gets there way late, and he ties it up. So they're playing okay in defence at the moment. Mooney, Kaven. As Peter Kaven gets a little pat on the back, wearing the 26.
Enjoy it while you can, Pete.
Rose dumps it down. Burke about to pounce on it. Stolen back by Greg. Thumps it back. Kaven goes back. Lockett has hit him in the eye with his elbow. Like a sledgehammer.
He's not the sort of bloke you want running into your big plugger with a head of steam up. And that was a really nasty incident. And he's in all sorts of trouble. Funnily enough, didn't get reported at the time.
No report.
Ended up getting 8 weeks. But it was the following year that Plugger went to Sydney and became a teammate of Peter Kaven's.
Yeah. You wonder whether this was the moment where they thought, we're going to do whatever it takes to actually get this bloke up here.
Of course, play continues. Minton Connell's got it in the pocket. Stretches out there. The bloke hasn't moved, but Simon Minton Connell can have a shot, of course.
How long that head is with the big, giant billboard forehead.
Wow. The crowd are into it. Of course, not many there, Wayne, which means you can hear just about every word.
And the interesting thing is the stretch is on the field, but the game still goes on.
Yep, don't need to stop it. The bloke hasn't moved. And Simon Minton Connell kicks a ripper from the pocket in the meantime.
So that's one of the massive differences in the game now. As soon as the stretcher comes on the ground, everything stops. Fortunately, play went on to the other end of the ground, but this is just a nasty, nasty hit.
It was brave. It was brave from Kaven.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear the sledges from the crowd. And now, just bear in mind, incidents like this would often put a player off. If you knew you're in all sorts of trouble or you'd caused a serious injury to a player, often it could put you right off your game. Hasn't kicked a goal yet, Plugger. It's not going to put him off his game, let me tell you.
Well, his opponent started well.
16 times reported for a 23-match suspension. And as we said, he copped 8 for this hit.
What does he cop today for that? So it's graded as
well, it's straight to the
high,
tribunal,
it's
isn't
intentional, it's all of those things that go straight to the tribunal. What do you think you get?
Well, is it graded intentional? Because he pleaded not guilty and he said it was protection when he went to the tribunal.
Could you make that argument that there was self-preservation in the act?
Did launch off the ground at the end. The elbow was a touch pointed, but you'd certainly be trying to argue it wasn't intentional.
Don't like their chances of having Peter Kaven give evidence.
No. But it's really interesting the question you asked.
His arm's just laying limp.
Yeah.
What would the tribunal do? Because we just don't see incidents like that now.
That's amazing vision. The runner virtually said, "Can you get him over the boundary so we can keep play going?"
We've come a long way, haven't we?
Oh wow.
Not much remonstration either.
No, if it was anyone else, they probably would have remonstrated. But there aren't many that walk up to Plugger and give him a clip or a push around.
Yeah.
Because they might cop the same treatment.
So Sanford Wheeler out there now, who we sadly lost 5 weeks ago.
Yes.
So to all of Sanford's children, if they're watching, let's hope Dad has a good game. He's back out there now. Umpire just waiting for the stretcher to go off. Rowan Sawyer's
there.
Here's Callahan and Adrian Panozzo, the umpires. A couple of them only in their 6th and 9th game as well.
Do you think that's right, Jace? Do you think that's just the fear factor of Lockett, that there's been, from what we've seen, no remonstration at all?
Well, I guess it depends on the type of players that were in the vicinity, but also it very much depends on who the perpetrator was. Yeah. And there were no bigger men than Plugger playing the game. And he also didn't care about rules and regulations. So if you walked in and asked for it, he would have given it to you.
Yeah.
So play resumes. Luff in the meantime. St Kilda still yet to score. Lowe gets back. Crunch to that marking contest. Ball falls to Peckett. Hands it up to Burke. Caught by Kickett. Heads wide. Greg stalks it. Little knockdown was okay from Bailey. Shaw. Winmar to half forward. Saints still yet to score. Lockett was stalking him again. Sanford Wheeler gets back to Neal, to Mooney, who's Lockett's opponent, by the way. How wide to Bays.
One of the best kicks in the game, Dwayne. That left foot of his was magical.
Smooth.
And there you go. That's an example. Scotty Waters puts it to grass, but mops up his little mess. Hands it up. Philandia. Peter Philandia to Daniels. Kelly's got it. And on the move. Smooth. Straight away hands it up. There he is. Higgins again launches. Goal square. Simon Minton-Connell. 2 in a row for Minton-Connell.
Where did he play his best footy, Jace?
Up forward. Low.
Club.
Oh, which club? Yeah, difficult to say. Played some good footy at Hawthorn. Wasn't a great kick coming in. Have a look at the way that's spinning. Would have been paid the mark, I suspect.
Wasn't really room for him in the forward line at Hawthorn, was it?
Wouldn't have thought so.
No recall of the bouncers back in 94 either. Just keep play going. Bardsley tried to back his way out, but dumped, not holding the ball, of course. Gavin Rose just pumps that as far forward as he can possibly get it. And they're on the move behind the pack here at the Swans to try and knock it through.
Frankie.
Stolen back to Frankie Peckett.
Frankie.
Burke tries to get there, lays the tackle and drags down McRae. Lewis might as well have a crack from there whilst you've been tackled.
Pecco in number 29. I think Berkey wore 29 before he went to 3. Pecco wore 29 and he went to 1,
didn't he? Yeah.
Andrew Thompson wore 29 and he went to 4. And Stephen Baker wore 29 and he went to 10.
So everyone got 29 as a starting jumper, did they?
Yeah. Here's your apprenticeship. You wear 29.
Mark Hepburn took a year off before this year just to go travelling around the world. As you do, just have a year off footy. Just go and see the world and come back and play some more. This is his 5th game for Sydney after being at North Melbourne for a while. Heads toward the goal square.
And the other thing is, a lot of players still worked. It wasn't full-time to one.
Kick it, attacked, absolutely. Had a day job and you got the training about 4:30. Kick it, opens it up, slams it on the boot and tried to drill it through the goal umpire behind. What was your job, Jace? What did you do during the day back then?
I worked in the, I'd finished my 94, but I worked in the transport industry for TNT. Graham Johns, former South Melbourne man, was running TNT at the time and used to look after some of the footballers, which was fantastic.
As a conductor on the transport, tickets please, was that you?
No. A lot of the players were sales reps. I became a trainee manager with them and was very, very appreciative of the opportunity.
A slap to the back, Lewis. Got the Shepherd. Oh, lifted it over Nicky Winmar's head like a matador. Handed it to Daniels. Back towards full forward. Grant and Frawley with the fist. Close to the boundary and taken out by Darren Creswell.
At what stage did you think, footy's going all right, I'll just give that a miss now, Jace?
Well, it was when I started doing media.
Right.
Which was probably around sort of 94-ish, I guess. 94, 95, 95, yeah. So it might have been just wrapping up.
Big Lazar trying to get on his boot. Barnsley slams it back out. It's a little untidy at the moment. Swans coming off a 1-win season. Heading into this season as the favourite for the Wooden Spoon. They've come into this having lost their last 7 in a row against the Saints. They weren't that fantastic the year before either. Finished 12th the year before St Kilda, as the boys were telling you. Philandia. Little Peter Philandia on the run. Grant kept it in front. Back towards the wing. Rose backs back. Wakeland nearly got him, but Wakeland's only young at this stage as well. Greg caught by Bays. Stewie Lowe. Peckett Where's Plugger? To the boos. Plugger's got it.
It's about to start. It is about to start. The onslaught. I just love this kicking style, Rui, because he holds the ball so still. You know how a lot of players spin it and flip it around? He holds it so still. He holds it over the right leg. He runs straight through his target, low ball drop, and he kicks through it. It is just the perfect kicking technique.
It is a very low, he almost places on the boot. Big Plugger, and the greatest goal kicker of all time has got his first to the boos, and the crowd letting him know. Small crowd, but have a listen to some of the voices in the crowd, just letting him know they're going to be there for the whole day.
Get him off. Get him off.
Just starting to rattle his cage, and he's well and truly rattled them and rattled Peter Kaven's cage well and truly. He's done for the afternoon. Stewie Lowe hands it to his mate Burke, cut off by Higgins, tried to thread the handball through. Brunton's got it in the 13 to McRae, dumped by Greg, who got there. The intensity's just gone up a little.
No banger. No banger Harvey.
No Russell Morris either
No,
in this game.
Fly played in the twos.
Oh, did he?
Fly was he was sitting in the crowd.
The pretty boy.
Fly. Great man, Fly.
He'll appreciate the mention. If Fly, if you're watching, you can get us on Twitter. In fact, anybody can get us on Twitter. Make sure you tweet us at Fox Footy. Get us on Facebook at Fox Footy or foxfooty.com.au. Join the conversation about this game. Tell us what you think about that Lockett hit on Kaven and what it might get if it happened today. He got 8 for it in 94. Philandia adding plenty of bite at the moment. Peter Philandia hands to Creswell. He launches one long. Good attack from Kelly. 40-metre handball to the pocket. Not too bad. Lewis loves having a snap. Oh, surely not from there.
No.
Surely not from there. Dale Lewis.
That's a sweet finish.
That is a bit of class. You can see there's a lot of hurried kicks, a lot of just dump kicks inside 50. It's a much longer kicking game than the modern game, but still, when the players like Bays or like Lewis get hold of the footy, it looks like a different class.
Interesting option, the hand pass from Kelly on that particular point in time.
From the ball up, which we missed. Good attack from McRae. Greg jumps on it. They jump on him. In that congestion. Hurry up, pick it up. You can hear the crowd because there's only 9,000 in the house. Little Scotty Waters waddles away. Has a couple of bounces. To the wing. Paul Kelly waited for it. Doesn't collect. What do you think of the game style, Nick, watching one of these old games with us for the first time?
No, I love it. I love it. It is a throwback, absolutely. The game doesn't look anything like this anymore, but it's uncomplicated. It's one-on-one. There are no real layers to the game. It's get it, move it forward, and get it in as quick and as long as you can.
Philandia. Bit off more than he could chew there. Went towards kicking. Shanahan heads back towards half forward. Sure. Little nap onto Burke. Where's Plugger? He's in the pocket and he's got it. Big time.
We'll let everyone in on that joke a little later.
Keep going with them.
To the boos again, Big Plugger. Sock up. Here's this style that Jason Dunstall has said is the best we've ever had. Low ball hold and ball drop.
Simplistically beautiful.
The AFL or VFL record holder with 1,360 to his name. Mongrel's one through for a point. Just to prove us all wrong.
Commentator's curse. He actually ran right of his target then, which is something he just never did.
He's had 4 shots.
Yeah. Correct. He could have 4 goals already.
I think he's kicked their whole score. 4-1 to 1-1. Sorry, 1-1 to 4-1. Lockett's got the 1-1 and 2 out on the fours. Bays. Down the spine, Higgins. Waters.
He's racking them up, Scotty.
Is he Watt? Wakeland of the Shane variety. Good slap to keep it in front and then grab it back and Plugger again.
He's just getting it at will when it comes down, isn't he? So hard to match up one-on-one. And just look at the size of his opponent. In actual fact, when you look at these teams, they're so much smaller than the teams that you see today. There are so many small players running around that you think, you know, that there's like 4 or 5 Caleb Daniels in each team, which is just unheard of. But even the big blokes are smaller, except for Plugger.
He was on Mark Bayes there, who's 27 years of age in game 180. At this stage, and Plugger continues to be the man who's kicked their entire score.
Just had an update. Twitter has actually been flooded with people sending in pictures of Jason Dunstall cards. This one from Lukey Donald, and he's actually sent it in with a complaint for the shoddy signature with the smudge work all over it, Jason. So
I didn't smudge it, obviously.
What do you mean you didn't smudge it?
I don't smudge
You
autographs.
signed
mate.
it.
Yes, and he's obviously put it back in the case too early, and it's smudged.
Send all your Jason Dunstall cards in and we'll get him to sign them all.
Sorry for trying to do the right thing.
Anyone with a Jason Dunstall card, send them in, and Jason will sign them for you.
He'll spend Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday this week.
How dare I try to do the right thing, Dwayne, and sign it for someone.
We'll give you a decent Sharpie.
Do you know what the great thing is? I hope they're all the same car that Rui's got, just to devalue.
No.
Just so it's worth nothing.
This is a legend card. These are limited edition.
Even more of it's been touched by the great man.
Says it on the card.
Brunton kicks the Swans. Here's Spud. Kept it in front. Brilliant stuff from Danny Frawley. Collect on the move from Bailey, who's doing okay with that mop of hair. Shrugs off for Landia. Good collect from Bays. Here's the man that Jason Dunstall said is one of the great kicks of all time. And he proves him right.
Now, he's kicked that from inside the square, Rui. Not only has he kicked it from inside the square, but the ball goes out of picture as it clears the fence behind the goals. Now, there were always rumours that it wasn't quite 50 metres up at the SCG. And
just the 49?
Yeah. Rumours, weren't they?
I mean, it's very close to the centre square, but have a look where he kicks it from. Inside the square, look at the ball as it disappears into the distance over the back.
That's gone 80.
That's huge, isn't it?
That's a blighty kick.
Free kick's been found just as Higgins was about to run away with it. So Lazar Vidovic back in that Lockett direction. He doesn't get a run out this one and taken by Neil.
Blighty's has gotten a metre longer every year, hasn't it?
Daniels being pursued, wrapped up quickly on the chase by Burns. Winmar caught, and to give it back to Burns. Hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Lockett, he gets there late. He took down Mooney. Couldn't get the ball though. Little roller to the back. Lockett stalking it there for Wheeler. Oh, he nearly got him. Philandia around the body towards Waters.
He was lining him up.
Oh, so good.
And the Swans are out of trouble in more ways than one here.
You know he's about to come into the play before he's even on screen because you can hear the crowd.
Yeah.
Go, Lockett, go.
Bays.
Big roar.
Plenty of Saints fans in the crowd as well. Heads wide. Daniels keeps it alive to half forward and dropping back with the flight. Taking that mark again is Bailey.
Aside from that last error he made where Mark Bayes kicked the goal back over his head, he's actually started really well, Bailey.
Winmar, the collect on the move was stylish. Mark taken though by Sanford. Wheeler takes off immediately. Back down the spine to half forward through the hands of Hepburn. Greg shoots the handball back to Burke. Shaw. Where's Plugger? Berkey's got it. Plugger's on the lead. Berkey shrugs the tackle and Plugger dives. He missed it though. Oh, he's been collected by both of them, Mooney. Wow. And more boos.
Who got him first?
Oh, look at the blood streaming from his elbow from the Kaven hit.
Oh, he's just launching, Plugger.
I can't even get to his feet. So that's not Plugger. maybe Craig O'Brien.
I think it was the initial hit. We can't put that one on.
Whether he's hurt or not, it's a smart move.
Oh, get off.
Get off.
100%.
Get off the ground.
So they're down 2 men already, Sydney, in this one. Siren sounds, kick won't count. So quarter time, 1994, round 7, Sydney Cricket Ground, the Legend of Lockett game. Swans have an 18-point lead at quarter time, and they're down 2 men. Jason Mooney, done for the day. And Peter Kaven, done for the day. Hope you're enjoying the recalls. Tomorrow night, we've got another ripper coming your way. Carlton and Essendon, the 1999 prelim. Yet another classic on Fox Footy.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox.
So Peter Kaven done for the day. On the end of Lockett's elbow, a sledgehammer got him. A sledgehammer gets Jason Mooney in the opening quarter. He's done for the day. One to the jaw for the kid at this stage. Taken from the field after Kaven was stretched off. So it's quarter time. Sydney Swans by 18 points at this stage. We'll hear from Jason Dunstall and Nick Riewoldt shortly. But let's go down to hear the latest from Neil Cordy.
Jason Mooney has a suspected broken jaw and is being examined right now. Peter Kaven has recovered somewhat. He's regained consciousness, but he's got a pretty nasty break on the nose. But a couple of serious losses there for the Swans' defence.
Thanks, Cords, for the update. Let's have a look at the...
What about Dermot in the background?
In the background.
Oh,
As if he didn't know the camera was there.
just to get on camera.
It was well timed, Derm.
I love it. Good to have Derm. He loves it anytime he can get it. Thanks.
There he is.
Hey,
Oh,
Dermy.
very nice, Derm, in the background. The Zero Lab, as we look at an injury for the Saints at quarter time. A serious injury as well. I think Lockett's got a cut elbow.
Yeah. Well, he was headbutted.
Yeah, all that does is prove that it was one hell of a hit. If he has to get treatment on his elbow, just imagine how Peter Kaven felt for the hit that caved his face in.
It's like Rodney Dangerfield just scratched my anchor. He's taken some skin off his elbow, Peter Kaven, but he'll be okay, Lockett, apparently. He'll be able to play on.
That's good.
Absolutely. Second quarter, let's get it underway. Winmar and Daniels coming off the wing. Vidovic and Rose in the ruck. 18 points to margin. Swans lead in this Legend of Lockett Classic at the SCG. Free kick, and there's a little bit of nasty and spice in it right now. Winmar gives it back. Adrian Burns about to send the Saints to half forward. Back in Plugger territory. Plugger's got it again.
So that's a classic case. The ball's held up. It is then bombed as high as you could bomb it forward.
It's gone for the pass.
Oh, come on, Plugger, don't do that.
Nicky Winmar.
But yet, Roo, he was still able to have a one-on-one contest in the middle of the forward 50.
I just can't get over how easily how easy he makes those one-on-one contests look.
Oh, he just used his body so well, pushed them out of the way.
It's big guys.
Just lean on them, yeah.
So Winmar to help steady the ship.
That's why Plugger should never pass them off. If you're the best kick in the game, kick them. Even though he's missed a couple in the first quarter, he is still the best kick there has been in front of goal.
It's the year after Nicky made the stance against racism, and the year after he almost walked out on the club as well in '93.
Correct. Ended up coming back, but protracted contract disputes.
Robert Neal long and low. Big buckets low. Let's put those huge hands on it. Look how small the ball is in his hands. Hands long. Plugger won't be passing this one.
Mind you, they've moved Luffy to fullback.
Luffy.
Plugger would be sitting there thinking, my birthdays have all come at once, because Troy Luff's not a fullback. He's a utility that plays further afield. Plugger would be grinning. And again, held up, a big long kick. Two players.
There's no team defence there, is there?
No.
It was a nice kick from Big Stewie. He still looks like that, Lowy.
Yeah.
He has not changed.
Nor have I.
He's still on the tools in the building industry, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm not sure how often he's on the tools, though, Dwayne.
Lockett, who's back into the team this week, by the way, after kicking 8 in the reserves last week. So that's how he got his way back into the team this week. And he's kicked it. And his form against the Sydney Swans in the last 4 games against Sydney, have a look at that. That's his last 4 games against the Swans leading into this.
Averaging 12 goals a game. They'd be thrilled every time he comes to town, wouldn't they?
Goodness me.
That's just a fierce flogging of a team that you just have sheer contempt for.
That is Shane Warne, Daryl Cullinan. That is a bunny.
It's brutalising.
That is a bunny.
Poor Luffy trying to play one-on-one against Plugger.
Yeah, Luffy's in game 27 of his career here, Troy Luff. And he played, I think he played 551 games all up. He headed to the Burbs and played at the end of his career. He just couldn't stop playing. Stewie Lowe gets there, tries to pluck it from Bays. Hits the deck, and we'll get a ball up. So a little bit of a hush over the crowd. Plugger has raised the intensity. He's taken a couple out. There's 21 players in 1994 per team, so they've at least still got some bench left, the Swans. Bays caught. Flicks it wide to the boundary.
Another tweet coming in there. Connor Howard once met Jason Dunstall and asked him to sign my footy card. Never seen a messier signature. So we could be onto something here, Jason. Either they're all wrong and they're all smudges, or...
No, hang on. He's not talking about a smudge. He's just saying it's messy. But signatures aren't meant to be reproduced by others.
No.
It's supposed to be an individual marking, is it not?
So if you make it messy, that's just your mark.
Correct.
Right. So the messy ones could be worth more.
Well, as long as it looks the same every time you do it.
Right.
I'd call it lazy.
The next person that comes up and asks me to sign something is going to get a fierce going over.
Oh, yeah, what are you going to do?
So Burns
I've always prided myself on doing the right things, Dwayne.
I'll
piff that.
Don't you dare.
Burns has got a knee injury here. I'm not sure if it's a dislocated kneecap or...
That was, I think, is that Dennis? That's Dennis Campbell, Kenny Whiffen.
Oh, nice.
And Robert Bartram.
Amazing trainers at clubs, weren't they? And they were there for so long.
Yeah, the great Kenny Whiffen.
Service.
So Kenny Whiffen, the head trainer there in the cap, he was the runner in the 66 premiership team and then became head trainer.
Great that you remember them, Nick. Although it wasn't that long ago. They stay at the clubs for decades. They see players come and go big time. Greg, here we go. Where's Plugger? Where's Plugger? Almost off hands. O'Brien tried to get it and go. He dumped. He wanted to take someone down. Stewie Lowe caught. Bardsley lurking. Locker's lurking. Lockett around his body. And Bays on the line.
Right about now, if I was Derek Kickett, I'd be real worried, because that's the second time he's tried to clean him up. I reckon he must have gobbed off at some stage, and Plugger's got a long memory.
So he's been sent down there by Barassi to play in the hole, Derek Kickett. Just stand in front of Plugger. Don't let him have a run at it. Brunton to Rose. Philandia.
What's Kickett done to Barras? Done something.
McRae. Daniels. Luff couldn't get near it. The mark taken by Crezza. Creswell's got it. Doesn't like his chances of getting the distance. He's gone quick. No one's on the goal line. That's why he went quick, and Spud can't get back there. In fact, he's content to see it through for a behind. Game 32 of 244 for Darren Creswell as a 22-year-old in this game. Burke to the pocket to Greg. Looks inboard. Hands it up to Bardsley. Winmar. Little juggler for Nicky. See if Lockett can get a run at this. Bays went early. Daniel stayed down. Clever Crumb. Nice little pass to Rose on the run. Now the big red Rose heads long. Another mongrel from his boot.
Shank.
Danny Frawley in front. Gave it to Burke. Or he ducked out of that, or did he duck into it? Is that high or is that ball?
Ball.
It's ball. So Lewis to line up.
It's interesting, the last couple of contests we've seen Danny Frawley on Simon Minton-Connell. So Spud's adapted his game. He had a couple kicked on him in the first term. He's now taken front spot away from Simon Minton-Connell the last couple of times the ball's come down.
Nice off the boot, delightful from Dale Lewis.
He's flushed that one.
It's 3.
He's playing a nice game.
Thank goodness someone's kicking the ball okay, because we're seeing some terrible kicks going forward. You'd hate to be on the receiving end of them, that's for sure. But
Little bit more research. Another update on the Jason Dunstall Legend card.
Yeah.
So we've gone to eBay, and there we are. You can see the price there. So this is the same as the card I've got, unsigned, obviously, but there we are.
$100.
$100.
Wow. So your card now
eBay.
unsigned will be worth what? Just $1. Jason right now can add $98 worth.
Well, looking at the signature, how messy it is, I'm not sure if it doesn't devalue the card, to be honest.
I told you. Well, one thing we do know is yours won't be getting signed.
Bays, long, well, cut off by Keogh. He does the matador, lifts the ball over the head and spears it toward O'Brien. Couldn't mark it. Daniels.
It may get wiped somewhere, but definitely no signature.
How wide? Grant, who's playing pretty well, sits it on Nicky a bit. Daniels with the thump. Philandia blasts it back towards the wing. Lewis back with the flight. That was a clever flick. Couldn't mark it, just wanted to flick it on and keep running. And Grant holds it up. Keep your cards coming in. If you've got a Jason Dunstall card and you want it signed, send it to Fox Footy. Jason would love to sign them all.
And don't be afraid to tweet in how I went out of my way to sign autographs and did the right thing a lot of times and looked after kids here, there and everywhere. So we can balance it up with some nice stories.
Yeah, we will. In fact, if you can't get to Fox Footy, we'll give you Jason's home address shortly. You can head and see him tomorrow. Creswell on the move, on his left. Pops the pass, kick it, can't mark it. Ball forced to the back, Shanahan attacked it, kick it on the move. That's his class. Little bounce across the face ever so slightly. Frawley with a couple of beat. Creswell tried to flick it to Minton-Connell. Started well with a great first quarter. That's Jamie Lawson in the number 1.
He had the horrendous broken leg, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
It gave him trouble after trouble after trouble, and he never recovered from.
Smallest player in the AFL this year, Jamie Lawson, and for a couple of years as well. Handball out by Bailey. Keogh. And good mark back with the flight taken by McRae. That's Frost on him. Michael Frost has come on as the replacement, the injury replacement. Frawley got there way late. Minton-Connell, Philandia on the move. And he has added some bite. Peter Philandia.
Dwayne.
Yeah, it's Dwayne. Keep it going.
Enough now.
No. Keep him on the hook.
Right, you need to explain that now. Twice you've used the word bite with Peter Philandia.
He did get done for a little bite later on in his career.
In the VFL, wasn't it?
Yes, it
and
was.
How long was the suspension?
I'm not sure. How many did he get?
10 weeks.
10 weeks.
For so I think he was playing with Port Melbourne and bit St Kilda player Chad Davis.
Where did he bite him? On the knacker.
On the knacker.
Yeah,
on the knacker.
Bit his knacker.
Yeah.
He's got 10 weeks.
Got 10 weeks. So you get 8 weeks for an elbow to the head, and you get 10 for a knacker bite.
Obviously an accident. Jamie Lawson sees it out and we'll get a ball in.
I think I'd rather the elbow to the head.
Hey, Lazar Vidovic.
Not anyone snacking on me knacker.
Luff against Lazar. Ball not down to Bardsley around his body. And Rose got there late. Off hands. Greg tries to collect it. And it's out of bounds. Would have been by accident. You don't.
By accident. You don't bite a knacker by accident.
No, not believing that it was anything but an accident.
He pled careless, did he, at the try?
Oh, did he?
Self-defence.
Yeah. Bloke was wearing Eddie Betts' shorts. Bays turns back inside. Has the poise of Bays until the kick, of course. Creswell.
Compose ourselves.
Sanford Wheeler thumps it to half forward. Getting back, Luff. Good grab, 60 out.
Oh, Loafy, not happy. He was clear on the lead.
Gave him a spray to the pocket, just over the head. Lewis on his left.
Oh, 4-5.
Could have been 4. Yeah, he's playing well, Dale Lewis.
And a blinder.
Playing a beauty. Can he play a handful of games?
Good lead for the Sydney Swans. They're not used to leading. They're not used to winning. Wooden spoon the previous year. Won the wooden spoon this year as well in '94. It's round 7 at the SCG. The legend of Lockett game as the early leap from Bailey gives the free away. Kick it. Just joined Sydney this season in '94 after playing every game for the Bombers the previous year, getting dropped for the grand final, and he hits Kelly with a bullet.
So is that it? Dwayne, is that the reason that he went to the Swans?
Well, I don't think he was all that happy with Sheets dropping him for the grand final. I can understand that.
Yeah.
And I don't think they mended their rift for quite a while.
Right.
If ever.
You still think it's on now?
If ever.
One of the great guys, though, Derek Kickett. Was an absolute star as a player. It's almost, it is marked on the behind line by Vidovic. Frawley. Grant. Boundary umpire gives him some encouragement on the way through. Rose. Feeds it inside to Waters, who's getting a ton of it. Higgins. Heads to the pocket. Nice drop punt. Too wide for Minton Connell on the mark. Taken again by Grant. Back to the wing. Low with those big hands. Couldn't bring it down. Saints also coming off a bye into this game as well, so they're fresh coming into this. The Swans coming off another big loss to Carlton at Princes Park, heading into round 7. This contest, we'll head to Ross Glendinning for some special comments shortly. Brunton Court.
Early in the year for a bye.
Yeah.
Was that common?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
Thanks for your help.
I don't remember having buys.
Greg. Keogh caught from behind. Peckett heads out wide. Darren Burke. And the mark taken by Fode, who hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Gordon Fode, the 22-year-old.
Nearly lifted that leg a bit too high.
Yeah. Back inside. Early leap from McRae.
7 teams had a bye in round 6.
7 teams.
Yeah, St Kilda, Richmond, Hawthorn, Geelong, Footscray, Fitzroy, Essendon all had a bye.
Oh, there you go. You answered your own question. Jason wasn't going to answer it for you.
Looked it up.
O'Brien to the goal line, and Plugger can't trap this one. "28 years of age at this stage, Tony Lockett, in game 176. Coming off a season where he kicked 53 goals in 10 games in 1993. His last season at the Saints before joining Sydney. Neil, a little indecisive, he's taken plenty of time. And he kicks it straight to Stewie Lowe.
Look at those hands. They just cover the football, both sides, from top to bottom.
Like an under-9s footy. Lockett flies, ball falls to the back.
So now all of a sudden we've got the ruckman just dropping back a little bit to give them a chop out in the contested marking situations with Tony Lockett.
If you joined us late, that's the tape on the elbow that met Peter Kaven. Lockett doing a bit of ruck work. Gets his own ball back. Lawson, he wanted he wanted him.
May have given away another free kick, Plugger.
Yeah. Higgins and Plugger.
Oh,
Leon Higgins.
Leon, I wouldn't be gobbing off, mate.
So Philandia gets it from Hepburn. Couple of bounces, back pocket. He's got some zip. Heads wide towards the wing. Vidovic. Luff got there. Toes it off the carpet. Daniels. Minton Connell up. Oh, Lewis at the back.
He's giving Grandy a bit of trouble. I don't know if it's Grant's been on him all the time, but lining up for goal number 4, Dale Lewis.
Three goals for Lewis.
Played a about 60-odd games, I reckon, and just starting to really turn into a top liner.
Yeah, lining up for number 4. Oh, that is copybook. And this is the year where the great Jason Dussel kicked his 1000th goal of his career.
Bang.
Up at the Gabba.
How fitting. Back home.
A little bit of blood just starting to trickle from the eye where I copped a clip when I took the mark. Just a round arm from Richard Champion.
Hey, the locks look good too.
Oh, didn't they? I had awesome hair. They were the days.
You told me earlier about a nickname you had when you first got to the Hawks.
Yep.
Beetle.
Yeah. Russell Green thought I looked like one of the Beatles with my hair.
Brunton got a handball to Grant. Caught by Minton Connell. Dispossessed. Kelly from a one-step. That's why he's a Brownlow medalist the following year.
It's a shame that didn't stick instead of bunghole.
I kind of like Bungy.
Bungy.
See, they're on top of them, Sydney, aren't they? This is a team that's just sniffing a win. They've been starved of them. Just one win the year before and one from the first 7 this year. All of a sudden they're starting to play well and they can sense victory. He was the star, Paul Kelly. Love the way he played the game.
Tough.
Back in the middle. 9 goals to 3. Infringement into the square. Vidovic has to give it up to Rose. And he just pumps it, as is the style. Minton Connell got there late. Frawley had a couple of hands on it. Creswell couldn't break away. Wakeland waiting out for the Peckett handball. Shovels it further away, though. Lewis. Kick it. Blind turn was outstanding. Kick not so good. Winmar tracks it back. Nicky Winmar. Rod Keogh.
Oh, showed it to someone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who.
And a bullet pass down the spine to Lowe.
Did you hear the noise when it hit his chest?
Darren Burke. Where's Plugger? Here he is, stalking it. Who's going to get it? Fode. Oh, Fode took the shot. Hang on, he's hit the post, hit the padding.
Plugger would have been flat then. He ended up having to shepherd. It would have been much better if Fode dropped in behind Plugger and shepherded and let him run onto it. But everyone wants to get their hands on the footy, particularly playing forward for St Kilda. Everyone out of the way, it was kick it to Plugger. That's what they did. So you could die as a forward pocket or a forward flanker.
Robert Neal heads out wide. Early leap from Lawson. Keogh at the back.
Oh,
Dean Gregg.
Catch that.
And Lockett did. Or didn't he? No.
Wasn't exactly getting...
Hasn't been silver service.
has it? No,
it hasn't.
It's just get it and kick it as far as you possibly can.
Not getting it put on a plate the way you did, Rui.
94 tactics. Round 7, 1994. Good punch away by Hepburn this time.
So what you're telling us, Rui, is nothing changed.
We only had to play on one opponent, though.
There's the blood still coming from that elbow. Mark Hepburn back on Plugger at this stage now. Kick forward by Shaw. Damien Shaw, 20 years of age at this stage. Game 16.
Got some work to do, the Saints.
Robert Neal in his 10th game.
Canberra boy.
Back out towards, I think so. Winmar almost Lawson. Oh, he's caught Nicky. Daniels wrapped him up. Rose tried to flick it out. Lawson had his legs taken. Plugger, one-on-one. Hepburn, Plugger, Plugger, Plugger. And he stalks him. Oh, he sized him up. Had a couple of verbs and nouns to him.
Well, they've been the ones leaning over the fence, chipping at him, sledging him, and Plugger won't back down. If he gets the opportunity, like, have a look where he kicks the footy as well. Oh. He punched it low.
Have a look at old mate.
He'll get them. One by one, he'll get them.
I think he's at least...
Anyone got something to say?
What's that? What's that?
Yeah.
Reminded me of Mickey O and the West Coast supporters.
Mind you, if Plugger turned round to the fence like that, I'd be real quiet if I was in the vicinity.
So Lockett's got 4 at this stage. Saints just hanging in there. But they've had Sydney's measure and won the last 7 battles between the two teams. 5 minutes left.
I've won the last 7 battles, including up at the SCG last year. Stewie Lowe kicked 8. No Tony Lockett. But we did have a pig run onto the ground the last time these two teams met at the SCG.
Vidovic. I love that memory. That was one of the great calls by our man Sandy. There's a pick at full forward. Ball towards the wing. And Bardsley sees it out with Neil.
A fella by the name of Mark let the pick out onto the ground, who he runs a limo business, and for a lot of years he was the man that all the boys would call if they were even in a bit of trouble or needed someone to pick them up. They'd have a big night or whatever. Mark was always the man that you'd call, and so he's told the story. He got up there, he had the idea, called a piggery in Bankstown, went out and picked it up, bluffed his way in through the medical room, and
with a pig under his arm?
With a pig in a bag, and the pig onto the field.
With a number 4 on it, of course. Plugger's number. Plugger didn't play that day?
Did not play, no. Stewie Lowe kicked 8. Plugger was out.
Vidovic. Waters. We raked it in, but they put him down quickly. Grant. So you caught Brunton a little high on the way through.
You'd lose track of the number of times you'd look at a score line like that and realise that Plugger had kicked all the goals for St Kilda. I mean, back in that era when he was on, they just kicked it to him because he got it all the time.
Shove it out by Burke. Oh, caught a little high, O'Brien. Caught a lot high. Sanford Wheeler getting him around the neck. See if he's got this in him. Pulls it to the near side.
Made the distance easy. Yeah, plenty of question marks over that 50-metre arc up in Sydney.
No way. Well, when I first started, the 50 actually intersected the square. So that might have been when it was a legit 50.
But then I think they made the square a bit small.
Oh, so it wasn't a legitimate square either. Base strolls through them. His teammate McRae under some pressure. Lawson, Higgins, Neil. Kick it out wide. Minton Connell. Big spud Frawley with a fist. Knocked it down. Shanahan nearly missed his shoe. Creswell falls over. It's pretty untidy. Lewis tried to flick on. That didn't work. Craigie put his head down. Kick it was coming the other way. And Wakeland sees it across the line. Shane Wakeland in his 4th ever AFL game. First season at the club after joining the Saints from Port Adelaide. Rose. Burke. Rose met him. Burkey in the helmet. Oh, you asked for a Roo, and you get it. The previous meeting at the SCG.
There he is. There's the pig.
How do you get that in a bag?
Well, I think the story goes he came through a media entrance with a player's pass.
Right.
So there was a bit of collusion. There were some people that... There was an elaborate plot. There were a few people in on it.
So, number 4 on one side and Plugger written on the other side. I'm sure it found a good home for those concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Wakeland. Shaw. Where is Plugger? Here he comes.
He was surprisingly quick off the mark for such a big man. All power, explosive.
What a unit. He is a man mountain. Like a man against boys out there, even though he's playing on guys that are 26, 27 years of age. From just inside the 50, and he's missed to the near side.
He could have kicked any old number today. It's one of the worst kicking performances I've seen from him in a half of footy, and he's still got 4 to his name.
A little bit of blood on the front of the jumper.
What's he got? 4, 3 and 2 on the full.
10-2 on the full.
So he's kicked all 4 of their goals so far. Hepburn. Another mongrel. Kelly tracked it down nicely. Heads toward the wing. No one home. Not sure who he was kicking to, but we'll take that. Just get it down the field. 45 and start again. And the flick down. Waters. Little knock on. Kelly. Clever. Luff. Brunton. Kick it resting forward now after being sent back to stand in the hole in front of Lockett. Slap back to the middle. Burke, little paddle to his own advantage on the cricket pitch. That's why there's mud. Gregg, a wobbler, and Christian Bardsley takes the mark. In his 9th AFL game. Some young boys out there. 4th game for the Saints, 9th overall for Christian Bardsley. He can have a crack to bring the Saints a little closer. Not bad, and hits the post. They had their chances to be a lot closer. Just 9,500 in SCG.
It's not a great crowd, is it?
Oh.
Again, reflective of where the two teams are as well, Dwayne.
Ron Barassi, the Swans coach, the 58-year-old in his 477th game as coach, has been called back to mop up the Swans' mess. They were like Pompeii back in these days, known for their ruins, the Sydney Swans. Waters to the pocket to kick it. Just stumped away by Shanahan.
Shanners.
It's a good spoil.
Jason Dunstall sticking around after this, not just to sign your cards that you send in, but bounce coming up after the final siren of this one, this 1994 round 7 SCG clash. Got the full team in with you tonight?
We have Sean's in tonight, and hopefully a laugh for our viewers at home.
Looking forward to that. Gregg breaks away. There's another mongrel. Kelly can't grab this one. Burke does. Heads back towards half forward. Bardsley tracks it. Siren sounds. So half time at the SCG. Swans in control here. 25 points in front. Kicked 9 goals. Pluggett's kicked all 4 of the Saints' 4 goals. Not just bounce tonight, but don't forget Gil McLaughlin, the boss of the AFL, and Nathan Buckley on Fox Footy Live tomorrow.
There's a lot to love about footy. The hangers, the hits, the highlights.
The Jackie Chan in midair.
It's about winning.
Bloody weakest piss.
This weekend, that's exactly what your team will do.
Stuck it right up them. That's what you did.
18 clubs will sing the song, arm in arm, or from a safe social distance, as we relive some of the best wins your team has ever had. From deep in the archives to modern classics. We all need a win right now.
Back to back to back.
So this weekend, you'll get one.
Mark this day down, Western Bulldogs fans.
Your team wins on Fox Footy.
That's what the crowd wanted.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox.
Shake for me, yeah.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox. Halftime, brought to you by Jim Beam.
Welcome back to Halftime, brought to you by Jim Beam, and it was one of the most famous hits in footy history by one of the biggest superstars in our game, Tony Lockett. He's been in everything today. 4 goals, 3-2 on the full. We see Jason Mooney also copping a bit of attention from the Saints there. He had a suspected broken jaw. I believe Cameron Mooney might have a look at that a little later tonight on Bounce. But guys, really, it was that moment with Plugger on Peter Kaven, which has been spoken about so many times over the years. We know he got 8 weeks for that. Peter got his revenge somewhat a few years later on Denton.
Because over here we have a replica Tony Lockett, a mock Tony Lockett, or a mocket, and we have a choice of implements. We have the hockey stick, the cricket bat, the baseball bat, or for the lighter touch, Peter, the feather duster. Which would you choose?
Probably choose the baseball bat.
The baseball bat? Fine choice, an excellent bat it is too. Peter Kaven, revenge shall be yours. Peter, hey, Peter.
I don't know what to say about that.
All I would say is you would never want to play Plugger again after that, would you?
That was a Sydney media manager.
Yeah, allowing that to go on.
How did that get through?
Hey, you know what, though? It's been a pretty ordinary first half, and we've been upfront in saying that's not the sort of... We've seen some great games in recent times, but that half's out of the way. Stick around because the second half is an absolute cracker, and this game turns into something special.
All right, our Jim Beam teammate moment involves Gordon Fode missing from 5 metres out, and what makes it even worse is he had, riding shotgun, the greatest goal kicker of all time. You perhaps would have made way for Plugger, wouldn't you?
Well, trouble was he had the pace and momentum up, so he ran past Plugger, and then Plugger had to drop in and shepherd for him. Should have been the other way around. He should have dropped in behind Plugger and shepherded and let Plugger kick it out, because I guarantee you Plugger wouldn't have missed that.
There's a chance Plugger didn't know his name, so couldn't call. so couldn't call for the ball.
That's very true. That is very true.
There is a chance.
Plenty coming up in this second half on Fox Footy. Dwayne Russell, it is over to you. You have the pleasure of calling a few more Plugger goals.
Looking forward to it, Sarah. Thanks for that. Great to have you with us wherever you're watching. SCG Round 7, 1994, Mother's Day. Only about 9,500 in the house. The legend of Lockett game settle in, especially Saints fans, for this big second half. The collect on the run was from Bailey. Little wobbler forward and mark to Burke. This is Darren Burke, son of the ex-demon Barry Burke, heads to the pocket, and here we go. It's Lockett time, and the fans letting him know every time he goes near it. Pushed around on the ankle, still got that bandage on the elbow where he ran into Peter Kaven accidentally. Socks up. Regulation routine for 10-ton Tony. Here we go. And has spent 18 seasons in the game and had a 70% goal-kicking record. And he loves it. He's got it. Perfect start. Second half for that man. The lookout for Lockett shirt.
Well, one thing we do know is when you're getting beaten, if St Kilda are going to get back into the game, it's going to be on the back of that man there. Now, you can see him a little low down there. That's because he only plays 10 games for the year. But he's still averaging 5.5 goals a game, if you don't mind. Freakish. Gary Ablett had a great year that year and a big final series.
So you got your 100th in the was that in a final or
94? I did get it in the final, I reckon.
He can't remember. Nick's one of the 6 times that he kicked 100. I mean,
actually it was the game that went to extra time, the final against North Melbourne.
Wakeland long, Luff gets back in the hole. That's a good grab. Great to have.
Can't remember when I got my 100th.
That's right. It was only one of the 6 times.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, please. Sanford Wheeler on the move from half back. It's wide. Saints have plenty around it. Little chip forward from Higgins. Simon Minton-Connell. Danny Spud Frawley. He's caught the Spud from the pocket. Philandia a nudge to the back, but only a behind.
It's tightened right up, Spud. Minton-Connell got those couple early touches and
hasn't kicked one since though.
No.
Grant heads out wide. Kickett got there, but Wakeland got there. And oh, he takes a little bit of Creswell's Adam's apple on the way through. 4th game for the Saints. Shane Wakeland, the ex-Port Adelaide Magpie from Kimberway. Lockett, Lowy, I should say. Off hands, knocked out of it was Shaw. Bays takes off. It's a kick around his body towards half forward, but it's a little too wide. And Peckett should pick it up and take the free.
So when did Darryl join Shane?
They're twins, they're the same age.
Yeah, when did he join him?
Must have been the year later.
I'll find out for you.
Oh, good grab. Stewie Lowe. Nice moment for him. Shaw. Lockett. Big plugger.
How good's that? How good is that? Got that, Crezza. He's just said, you know what, you can have some of this. He used his body to nudge the opponent out of the way, and watch the way he gets up. Loses his balance, and he goes, well, I just need a little prop up. Got that. Oh, he's the best. I love watching him play.
So he's got 5.
Make it 6.
To the booze. Listen to the fans. He's got all 6 of St Kilda's 6 goals. What about the knee to the head?
Oh, you got to watch him getting up. So he takes the mark. Good 1-on-1 against 3. Then he's got to get up. He sees where Creswell is. He actually looks at him and says, well, I can use that as a springboard. Oh, that is so good.
It's amazing.
Now, he didn't get hurt. It was just a little cop that, you know?
It's just angry.
Yeah.
It's angry.
It's just, you know what, I can do anything I like here.
Nicest bloke, too.
Oh, ripper.
Such a
Yeah,
nice
absolute
guy.
ripper.
There was an angry fan as well. Did you see the Saints back to Moorabbin sign? They'd moved to Waverley at this stage, I think, and that fan wasn't happy. Ripped up his mum's bed sheet and put the big sign on it. Higgins through the congestion. Grant knocks it down. Free kick. Lewis is going to get one.
Louis.
And it's on behind play again. There is Shane Wakeland, who finished his career at Collingwood.
And Darryl did join the next year, you were right. So he came in 95 and played 21 games in his first year.
Who was the better player, Rui?
Oh, there's one. Who was the better looking?
Well, I had a mirror in my locker when I arrived, number 12.
No, but the 2 identical twins. That's a goal, by the way, to Lewis.
Shane
That's
left
his
over.
forward. That's his forward.
We've got the updates. They keep coming. This is probably my favourite Jason Dunstall card that I've seen yet.
Oh, with the helmet.
It's the helmet version.
He refused to sign those. Or have you signed that with pen?
That looks like it's cracked.
I have.
That's very old. That
was with the old. They used to come with the Chewy.
That's the 80s.
Stimmerol
80s,
cards. Yeah. The Chewy that was like a piece of cardboard.
Hey, you were a kid back then. You didn't care. That Chewy was the best thing you'd eaten for a week. Coming with your footy cards.
Just the 1 year with the helmet.
Yeah, just 8 games. Last 8 games of 1990.
Check out the value of that one if you can, Nick, to see if the helmeted ones are worth more than the gold card.
How'd your teammates go when you had the lid on?
Very sympathetic.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's Wayne Thornborough in his first ever AFL game, kicking it forward for the Saints in the number 30.
That's what I asked Rui about before. I said, who's W. Thornborough? He goes, I don't know.
He'd been on the list 3 years at this stage and hadn't had a game yet. Crunch. They've all gone down. Kick it to the back. No free kick, of course. Lawson swoops on it. And Lawson has kicked a beauty.
That was a nice finish. That was a huge pack. It was David Grant going back. Crazy courage.
Look where he's kicked it from, though. Mark Bays. From just inside the defensive end of the square. Nearly got cleaned, though he did get cleaned up, David Grant. It's a good finish. He was a live wire until he got injured, Jamie Lawson.
Yeah. So back in the middle, Rose against Thornborough in his first ever game. It'll roll it towards half forward. Neil all over the back of O'Brien, going nowhere. Oh, he gets a free. O'Brien not happy. For 3 years, they'd been stalking Thornborough, had him on the list. Ex-Glenelg from South Australia, ended up being traded to Richmond after 13 games. Winmar. Can't keep it alive. Bays with the free. And again, he just launches it, gaining as much ground as possible. Thornborough had a stolen from him by Daniels. Man in front. Toward the pocket. Lewis nearly with the one paw. Frawley went down, prepared to take the contact. Minton Connell ties him up. He got one to the hand as the
Dale Lewis
danger didn't get paid.
Dale Lewis tried to kick it off the ground. Nearly kicked his fingers off.
Stan Owens' first season, by the way, as well as St Kilda coach. 47-year-old in game 6 as Saints coach. Kelly, he shrugged the tackle, pumps it towards goal, and he misses only a behind. The great Stan Owens at the helm with Kelvin Moore and Danny Frawley on selection. So the captain was on selection back in these days in '94. Imagine that happening now.
Yeah.
Were you on selection, Nick? Maybe.
No.
No.
Well, you get the.
We used to sit in
get the occasional question,
but not vote.
No.
Grant.
Well, what else was happening in '94, Joe? She gave us some good ones earlier.
Oh, mate, there was plenty happening, if you really want to know.
Well, you teased us. You said...
It's the year that Lisa Marie Presley married Michael Jackson.
Really?
It was never going to last long, was it? It was the year that Kurt Cobain left us.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was also the year that Tonya Harding won the US Figure Skating Championships and had that title stripped because of a poleaxing of Nancy Kerrigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we should never, ever, ever forget June 17. That's when O.J. Simpson was the subject of a low-speed police chase.
In the Bronco.
Wanted for questioning in regards to the murder of his ex-wife and a friend. And it was, you know what they actually did with O.J.? They interrupted live coverage of the NBA Finals to cover the O.J. chase live to an audience of 95 million people.
Unreal.
Amazing.
If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine AFL Finals being on and there's a celebrity that's doing something, they've just cut coverage and gone to that.
Oh, yeah.
Frightening, isn't it?
Crazy.
The Juice. OJ.
Yeah.
You're a music lover as well. What was the couple of big hits of '94?
No, we had a chat about those earlier, Dwayne. I don't want to bore people again. Sorry you missed out.
No, so quite content. Waking around his body.
I was a little excited by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
That was the one I liked.
Will Smith.
Because you're a Will Smith fan, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You still are. Have you met Will Smith, Nick?
No.
You didn't meet him at the game a few years ago?
No, I did not. Missed out on that one.
You've hung with a few celebs, though.
Yeah, I have too.
Been to parties with
Thornborough. He only hangs with Katy Perry and co.
Yes.
Waters kicks it to half forward.
Oh, Spud, that's not.
Ball to the back. Simon Minton Connell, open goal with a banana, and he kicks it.
Well, I said earlier that Spud had taken front spot away from Simon Minton Connell, and it had worked beautifully. Unfortunately, he's let the ball get through his hands there, and that's why Simon Minton Connell's kicked his third goal. Dale Lewis is deceptively strong, has done a lot of ruck work for Sydney when the ball's gone forward. But have a look at this, Spud. He wins front position. Oh, no. Nothing worse than when you don't get hold of it and then you turn around and your opponent's got the footy.
Swans on a roll here. 12 goals to 6 at this stage. Thornborough in the ruck. So Vidovic's out of the ruck. Swans are down a couple of men. Kaven's done for the day. Mooney's done for the day. And yet they're full of run. Coming off a one-win season. Bays to Minton Connell.
Oh, that's a good grab. That's just a good grab. Again, Spud in front, but nothing you can do when someone sits on your head like that.
Well, that's just well defended, really, in terms of position.
Perfect position. Yeah, perfect position.
It was a nice kick.
Just a great mark.
Great grab.
The great Danny Frawley prepared to back there and take the contact, but Minton Connell had a bit of hang time.
He's operating at 100%. 3 kicks, 3 goals. Can he make it 4 from 4?
25 years of age in game 51 at the stage.
Big Loafy. You could sell advertising on that forehead.
To keep this Sydney Swans roll going. Oh, look at that. A spear, never in doubt. Now, speaking of history, it's actually, as we see the great Ronald Dale Barassi, it's this day. It's the anniversary of this moment, which is back in 1993. The lifting of the jumper.
At Victoria Park, wasn't it?
Stance against racism. The iconic photo by Wayne Loveday.
He's a huge figure in the game. There's no doubt about that, Nicky Winmar. On a number of levels,
yeah,
clearly. As a player, we know what a champion he was, and as an advocate.
Kelly on the move, hands it up to Philandia, has a little bounce, runs away from them, crosses the 50. Another one. Surely the Saints are gone.
100%. The standard has at least picked up. The skills improved dramatically.
Mike Willis is pretty happy.
Yeah.
Saints couldn't come back from here, Nick, could they? Possibly.
It'd take a superstar effort.
Look at those little legs going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, Peter Philandia.
Cheerleaders, the seats, I've never noticed them back.
They scatter then, did they?
Well, they were all seated behind the...
They would occasionally scatter if the goal was kicked from the pocket into their direction.
It was only the Swans and Carlton that ever had them, wasn't it, Dwayne?
Yeah. The Bluebirds and the Swanettes. Lewis.
So would the Swans have been privately owned at this stage?
I'm not sure, actually. They were one of the two teams, though, the Brisbane Bears, as they were back then as well. Lewis on the run. Oh, don't tell me.
That's a handful. He's got 5.
Dale Lewis on fire. So 15 goals to 6 at this stage. Hey, speaking of great live sport, Fox Sports Live, the darts, the world's best, are back in action every day on Fox Sports 5:05. Starts this Saturday, 4:30 a.m. Replays coming away at 10 a.m. If you love your live sport and you're hanging out for a little bit of live sport, Fox Sports bring it to you. The darts, all the best in the world, back in action, which is great to see. And you can get it on replay if you can't get up super early and get it live. Bays can't get there.
180.
180. Yeah, not quite. Burke about to track it down. And we'll get a ball in on the wing. So at this stage, the Saints are done and dusted. There'll be some commentators that would tell you this one's still alive, but, you know, surely there wouldn't be any commentator that would go with this. Look, stay watching. This one's still up for grabs.
The ball hasn't gone into St Kilda's 50 for that long.
He's got the kick away.
Ours would be feeling the pressure right about now. First year as coach, up to Sydney, 26-game losing streak for the Swans.
Yeah.
You'd be feeling it sitting in the coach's box right about now. No doubt
about Brass? He was nearly smoking cigars up in the box.
Was that, was that champagne?
The big shake that he had there with him as well.
Yeah, the Saints have had such a great record of keeping their coaches and sticking through thick and thin as well. So absolutely Stan might be feeling a bit nervous. Big Stewie Lowe.
So remembering Brass won 1 game the year before in his first year back, and he's won 1 game to date this year. Right now he's going, thank goodness, another win.
Don't forget you can join us on Twitter at Fox Footy, hashtag Fox Footy, Facebook, and foxfooty.com.au. Swans in control.
But they do say, Dwayne, you should never go the early crow.
Right, okay. So shall I go with they're still in it?
Yes.
Okay, they're still in it. Anything can happen in this game. Lewis out wide, sees it bounce out of play. Actually, you know what you should be telling people? They're coming home with the breeze in the last quarter, the Saints. Neil Cordy's already told us it's worth a couple. They're coming off a bye last week, the Saints, so they'll be fresher. Swans have lost 2 men, Mooney and Kaven. Absolutely, this one's still alive. I can sense the comeback coming. Sydney's lost their last 7 in a row against Saints coming into this. They've won just 5 of their last 48 games in general coming into this, the Swans. Off a wooden spoon year. Good collect from O'Brien. Back towards half forward. Lowe's down there, thumped away toward the boundary by Robert Neal. And we'll get a ball in.
It's been a good duel, that one. Stuart Lowe and Mark Bays.
Flick to the back by Thornborough, who's actually given them something. Little knock on Burke. Oh, soft up Luff. Knew he had him covered. Big spud all the way up from full back. Heads long. Lockett, not the second grab. Look out. Bays, Lockett. Oi! Wrapped up Hepburn and chucked him down. More booze for Pluggett.
No free kick.
could have been high as well. So Philandia.
So we saw the footy come in there. Kickett is just sitting in front of Plugger. So they've obviously made the call that the only way we're losing this is if Plugger goes on a rampage.
Yeah, but just looking at that last contest, I don't think his heart was in it, sitting in front of Plugger.
I'm doing it, coach, but I don't want to be here.
A 21-year-old in his first game. Wayne Thornborough into the ruck. Kickett gets there. OK, it's working so far. The master coach, Ron Barassi.
They're OK, Dwayne, the low kicks. It's the high ones that you don't want to be sitting under.
Daniels or Nicky took him out. Just adding a little bit of spice to it all. Berkey Storky put a toe in there. And then he took Philandia's hand off. The crowd are getting into it as well. 51 points, the biggest margin of this game.
He's got one, Philandia.
Yes. Stray boot on the way through. 51 points, the margin.
51. Wow.
And they're full of run. Daniels to the star, Paul Kelly. Couple of bounces. Ton of time. Creswell, smooth mover. Back to Kelly. To half forward. Almost. Lewis has been wreaking havoc. Peckett at the back. Danny Frawley says, I've got it. And the captain tried to lead them. He's come out to centre half back. Kicks to the midfield. Neal's got it. Stolen back by Thornborough. Rolls it inside. Kick it. Standing in front of Lockett. In the danger zone. Creswell. Back towards half forward. Fode. Hasn't had a massive afternoon. Back towards Lowe. Not clear of him. Lawson caught by the ear. Play on. Ducked into it. Wheeler. He turns it over. Fode another touch. Hands it out towards Keogh. Caught was Burke. Roll towards half forward. Kick it. That loose man. Or he left it behind. Creswell mops up that little mess. Hepburn running off Plugger. Spears it straight to Spud, who's come all the way up to the middle now.
Has been good since he got up high.
Has he? What? To Shane Wakeland, who's given them some run the kid. Here's Plugger. Got there late. Flicked it down. Knocked it down to Christian Pardsley. Oh, big moment that.
We've been starved of Plugger the last 5 or 10 minutes, haven't we?
That guy in the Saints cheer squad. I hope we get another look at him later.
They got it back to 50 points, though. Or how about this? Wade Chapman coming on. So they've waited till halfway through the third quarter to use their interchange.
This was back in a day where if you started on the bench, you could sit there for... and even when I first started, if you started on the bench, you could sit there for 2.5 quarters before you got a run.
There were no rotations. It was about getting dragged. Oh,
you could use the bench as often if you'd like, but Wade Chapman comes on for his first run under Ron Barassi halfway through the third. It's his third game and he's an 18-year-old. Kelly towards the pocket. Simon Minton-Connell couldn't quite get rid of Shanahan. Hands it up. There's Chapman again. So the 18-year-old couldn't keep the goal to steady the ship. Lazar Vidovic. Nathan Berg. Thornborough. Not paid that one.
Here's our friend in the cheer squad. Look for him next to the point post there. He's having a ripper.
He's not enjoying the fact that they keep missing.
Did you have many travelling fans?
There'd always be some loyal ones, yeah, that had travelled. They were great.
You've got to say, the Saints have had some of the most loyal fans of any club in history.
They have to be loyal. Yeah.
Spot on.
You can't have that much misery thrust upon you, Dwayne, and not be loyal.
That's four-time premiership star Jason Dunstall with us. Vidovic.
Arrogant, whatever.
Was, yes.
Well, if you blokes provided them with a little more enjoyment.
Yep, the condescending Jason Dunstall. Send in your cards, he'll sign them. Burke on the run.
Come on, Berkey.
Has the comeback started from 51 down?
That's it. That was Spud's goal. See the quick hands? Finally, they get another goal kicker, as well as Plugger with his 6. When did he start wearing the helmet, do you reckon?
I've never seen him. Oh, well, I think he didn't wear it from the start, did he?
No.
He's 24 years of age at this stage in game 146 of 323 that he ended up with. So about halfway through, getting close to halfway through his career. And he wasn't a big goal kicker back in the day as well. That's his first goal of the season, in fact, that he just kicked, and it's round 7. Dives back in, try and keep the momentum going their way. Trying to produce a comeback from 51 points down. Nice move from Greg. Over the head this time. Lockett attacks it. Kicker couldn't get there to trap it, and Lockett's been given the free.
Two hands in the back. See, they're vocal. Every time Plugger gets near the footy, the Swans fans are vocal.
He's taken 10 marks.
Philandy is injured. Comes to the bench to get some treatment. In the meantime, Plugger for number 7. And keep the comeback rolling. And he could kick a big bag.
Oh, have a look at those numbers. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? He's kicked a dozen 7 times. 5 bags of 11, 7 lots of 10, 13 lots of 9, 16 lots of 8. That's just ludicrous, isn't it?
16 straight the following year.
So
Steve Fitzroy.
62 times he's kicked 7 goals or more.
It's good maths. That was quick.
Could be wrong.
Burke.
You said it with such confidence.
Yeah. 4 minutes left in the third.
16 straight.
Damon Shaw.
What was your best?
Pulls the kick late. 17, as if you don't know. Winmar, tunneled. High, Plugger stalking it. Hepburn went up. Wheeler couldn't get it out. Luff, oh, he was met too. Just got it wide in time. Brunton in the race for it. Peckett, now Lawson.
Oh, Frankie.
Little Jamie Lawson gathers, feeds it up. Oh, to stop this run. Dean McRae has settled the ship. He misses.
Tell you the other thing you notice. No tats.
Wow.
No, you're right.
No tats.
You're right.
On the women in the crowd or on the men, you mean?
On the players.
Become trendy for both. Burke.
I actually haven't seen one, come to think of it.
Little chip wide. Here's the spud. He's starting to lift him, the captain.
I'm sure there must be 1 or 2, but just not exposed on the arms or legs.
Captain for the 8th season in a row. Danny Frawley this year.
Bit of ice on the hip for Peter Philandia.
94 AFL season guide says this year, finest leader in St Kilda history of Danny Frawley, and gets tougher and meaner each year. The season guide said that about him. Little roller. Shanahan gets there. Keeps it in front. Barrels forward. Blasted long. Wadding Lockett. Got there late. Kick it. Stayed in the hole. Hepburn there. Creswell. Wheeler. Pops it back out. Dying seconds on the wing. Foe. Bardsley.
Need a late one. Need a late one. Get it forward, Plug.
Spard sends it long.
Where is he?
Thornborough got there late. Luff. Not sure where Plugger was there. Rose. Kick it. Good sidestep. Heads out wide. McRae. Good collect, but he's dumped by Burke. They're going to spark here, the Saints.
Just saw Troy Luff get a possession. You didn't want to play grand finals with Luffy. 10 grand finals before he actually won one, Troy Luff, and this was in 3rd grade in the local New South Wales Sydney competition. Finally, I think that was the University of New South Wales / Eastern Suburbs team.
Thirds.
And he's still playing. He just loves the game, mate. Loves the game.
He does.
Organises the footy trip every year. But imagine playing 10 grand finals before you won one.
3's enough.
Send us a tweet if you're watching Luffy. I think 551 games all up in the end. And he's 24 years of age at this stage.
Refuses to stop playing. Just loves it that much.
Anybody can send us a tweet. Luffy sent us one, but if you're a fan out there and you're watching this for the first time, maybe this Legend of Lockett game, the famous Lockett Kaven clash.
And don't be afraid to tweet something nice about me for a change.
Oh, yep.
All the hidings I've been getting over these blinking cards.
Lockett gives it up. Fode's on the move, has an arrogant bounce, little nudge to the backside. Plugger stalking it. Luffy doesn't want to grab him yet. To the booze. Plugger on hands and knees. Bays picked his pocket. Lawson a couple of damn steps to get out of trouble.
You reckon they weren't drawn to Plugger? He's broken through the 50, which is actually 30, and tried a 10-metre pass.
Vidovic takes the mark. So they stopped the Swans' momentum.
Do you ever play any footy after you finish, Jace?
No.
Last game for Hawthorn was it?
That was it.
Sure.
I was done.
Where's Plugger? Up late, had to spoil it down. Big moment, O'Brien.
Oh, that was hooking late.
8 seconds left to three-quarter time. We're not going to tell you what happened, but there's a chance it might come down to the last kick. Heads out wide to Thornborough. Siren sounds. Three-quarter time. And at the conclusion of this contest, this 94 round 7 SCG clash, bounce is coming up. The full team in the house. Jason Dunstall sticking around, and
Next one's going straight to your
Craig Gazy and Moons. Can't wait, boys.
Have another diesel, you fat block.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox.
Great to have your company. Friday Night Footy on Fox, the 1994 round 7 SCG clash. The Legend of Lockett game. Peter Kaven done for the day. Jason Mooney done for the day. Lockett's elbow strapped after the collision with Kaven that he got 8 for. And it comes down to this, the final quarter. Saints have kicked the last 2 goals of the game. Wheeler wide after Swans opened up a 51-point margin. Lewis. Peckett, he didn't fall on him. He holds him up. Crowd thought it could have been a free, but it's not.
It's been a great effort by Sydney when you take that into account, being too short.
Yeah.
Even though they're not rotations, but not having the ability to call on a couple of players and to lose 2 players that were in your initial plannings.
Well, Sheets could have put Wade Chapman out there earlier, but he saved him till the 3rd quarter. On the run, Kelly pokes it to the top of the square. Minton Connell, Shanahan. Minton Connell just towed it away from him. Shanahan, he got up and ran away with some style. Bardsley, Burke, straight down the spine. Thornborough got there way late. Mark to Luff, hands up the kicker, who's happy to get away from being in front of Plugger. Daniels, a mongrel. Helicopter. Minton Connell collected it nicely. Wade Chapman, who's added a bit of spice. Grant, he overcommitted. Lewis, easy one from the goal line.
He's got 6. He's got 6, Louis.
He's got 6.
If you don't mind.
6 in his 66. Here's another tweet we've got in from Timothy O'Meara. One of my mother-in-law's prized possessions is a life-size cutout of Jason Dunstall. Also has number plates. Honouring Bung. Can we get some photo?
That's nice.
Can we get some photos
That's
of these,
nice.
please?
That's nice.
We want a photo of the cutout and what do the number plates say if they're honouring you, Jason?
Be like Bung 19
Bung
or something.
19 or...
Have you seen the Bung 19 getting around Melbourne at all?
I haven't. I haven't.
What sort of car would it be if it was you, Jace?
Oh, V-dub.
Burke on
Combi van.
Luff heads wide. Winmark cuts it off. The Spud. He's all the way up to half forward. He's cranked on it. He's got it 70. Lockett's under it. Can't mark it. Luff. Started to chop up a bit, the SCG.
Isn't it?
Wheeler.
Have that. Yeah.
Hepburn. Bays. Out wide. Crunch Spud. Nearly took Higgins with him. Doing well, Danny Frawley. Leading from the front, the captain. Shaw. Big kick, sends it long, goal square, plugger. Front on contact, maybe, no. Only behind.
Did he play much centre-half back, Spud?
Yeah, a bit. He did a bit.
He's
At different
dominated.
stages, because the one thing Spud had was a great tank.
Yeah.
For a stopping
unit,
defender,
yeah.
he could run all day. Oh, that's an instant torp.
He set up for a drop punt, and it ended up being a torpedo.
A reverse torp.
There's been some rank kicking.
Burke to half forward. Brunton.
Come on, got to keep the next one. Here we go.
Right, from 50. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no.
Tell you what, he's added a bit, though.
I wonder if he had any options.
Maybe he wasn't a fullback after all. Maybe he just got played
He
in the wrong
played some
spot.
games at centre-half forward as well.
Yeah. This is game 211 of his 240-game career for the great Danny Frawley.
He led them through such a tough time.
Maybe wasted at full back for his whole career. Hepburn. Early leap. Winmar got up on Daniels. Peckett. He took it out. A little one to the ear on the way through. Plenty of spare seats in the crowd. Only 9,250 odd in at the SCG for this Mother's Day clash, which might be one of the reasons. McRae caught a little high. Yeah, won himself the free. Dan McRae in his 24th game for the Swans. Strapped up. Rose. Waters. Creswell. What about the drop step there?
Clever.
Little fake was outstanding. Minton-Connell nearly gets away. Creswell gets it back. It's bending. It's bending. Settles it all down.
How good's that?
The great Darren Creswell.
Just the fact that he knew what was around him in the middle of the ground when it looked like he hadn't had a look, but he knew. And then he delivers the ball, but he doesn't stand still after kicking it. He takes off and he gets on the end of this. And the finish on the left foot, that's outstanding. Home the Swans. Home you go.
Goal of the week, goal of the mark of the week. Was that a big thing back there?
Yeah, it was. What are they? 48 points in front.
So if the Saints could win from here, it would be the biggest last quarter comeback in AFL VFL history. If they could come back and win from 48 down. O'Brien back to the hot spot, over the head of Shaw. Yeah,
Gee, this hey, plugger, fix up the hole in the ground that you left when he fell over. They're giving it to him.
You can hear it so clearly.
And he would not care one iota, plugger.
48 points the margin. It'd have to be the biggest comeback in the history of the game. Good attack from McRae. Got it out. O'Brien. He uses the dance step wisely. The kick a little wide. And it's landed through for a behind.
You'd feel safe 48 points up.
Yeah, you would.
You know, 5 minutes into the last quarter, wouldn't you? 47 now.
Higgins made the commitment, got there, put his head in the hole. Daniels swoops that to Rose, to Waters. Spears it to half forward. Wakeland gets there. Showing a little bit, Shane Wakeland. Low, just over his head. Hasn't been a big day for Stewie. Can make it his moment here. Caught by Kickett, though. Wrapped up and fell. Play continues. No, not from there, surely. Dean Gregg hasn't had a big day, has a huge moment.
Is that a bit of the footy?
He looked like he was in row 2 then when he picked that up.
Wow.
And off one step, threads the banana.
Great finish. Just what they needed, something to spark them.
Just lurking at the back there. 25 years of age at this stage in game 31, Dean Gregg. So back in the middle. They've got one back. But they need 8 in a row to win it. Luff. Oh, he barrels it in the end. Just launches one. Minton Connell. Shanahan did well. Back on him. Winmar tried to turn out of trouble, but he turned into it. Keogh. Oh, he's given that to Chapman. Wade Chapman. He could end it. It's all over if it's a goal. That's it. Done. Dusted. Oh, Shanahan's got a fingernail touched. So they're still in it. Shanahan, 14 minutes and 21 seconds left. And the leader, the captain, Danny Frawley's inspiring them. Captain for the 8th season in a row. Hands it off. Fode's on the move. Straight down the middle, wastes no time. Lowe can't get there. Ball falls to the back. Love's been sent back. Lockett. Love. Wakeland fell on him. Free kick. Oh,
just a little push to go on with. Oh, Derek, get on your bike, son.
He had to look around to see who was around. Bardsley. Oh, he flicked it over his head.
$1 million handball over the back of your head.
In the D50.
Without looking.
Robert Neal. Oh, that was all part of the grand plan. Derek, a bounce, little jog, back to the wing. Winmar, he's just picked that up off the grass. He's played it. Neil Elvis goes long. Low. McRae. Neal. Rose. Another minute ticks off the clock. Little wider and Grant. Well judged. David Grant heads inside. Greg the jumper. Couldn't crumb it. Keogh with him.
Spoke a little bit about Pluggers pre-game. Before we started the call-out, we would throw up every week. He would very, very rarely know who he was playing on, Plugger, and I've had this confirmed by a number of his teammates. I spoke with Shuey Lowe yesterday. But he would always know every week how many goals Jason Dunstall had kicked coming into the game. Fact. He might know if it was Mick Martin he was coming up on, but outside of that, he wouldn't have any idea, but he could tell you every week, Dunstall kicked 8, Dunstall kicked 8 this week.
I don't think I wasn't checking up on him either.
Numbers 1 and 3, greatest goal kickers of all time. Tony Lockett, Jason Dunstall.
Third's good, right, Dwayne, isn't it?
Oh, what?
Everyone remembers who comes third, don't they?
You don't get an end, though, at Marvel Stadium, unfortunately.
Donuts.
How many goals off having an end at Marvel did you finish?
40.
Coventry, yeah, 40 odd.
5 or something.
Okay.
Too many.
And Frawley collects it. They're still alive here, the Saints. Still some high belief. Spud takes them on. Caught though. Flicked out to Higgins. He can put this one to bed. Has a bounce. Flying shot. Goal and it's over. And he kicks it out on the full. Leon Higgins. 25 years of age in game 103. Smooth mover as well. So Shanahan to kick it in. Again, not a lot of time to waste, so heads long in the Thornborough direction. And he's been good in game 1, Wayne Thornborough. To Burke. To the middle. Oh, Kreza overcommitted. On the run, Dean Gregg again. He's just kicked the ripper. Lockett stalking that one. Oh, kick it just got there in time. And Lockett jumped on him.
How many free kicks has he given away?
Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, do not poke the bear. Oh, you're a brave man to do that.
It's just awesome.
Bays toward the wing. Daniels. Now marks Winmar. Jason Daniels. Too high.
All this time continues to drop off the clock.
So Wheeler out wide to Waters. Turns inside and he turns it over to Burke. And again, Nathan Burke wastes no time. Straight down the middle. Bardsley, his target.
Big punch.
Oh, well done.
Thornborough on the move. He's kicked a monster. He's kicked at 80. Lockett, 1-2, not the third. Kick it. in that tag team with Hepburn. Hepburn side by side with Lockett. Kickett playing in front of him. Rose caught. Back to Neil. Brunton. Luff. Wattis. Met late by Vidovic, but he's got it to Bays. On the run. Could have gone for home. Went for the pass. Minton-Connell.
Loafy's dropped a chest mark.
And Grant doesn't take it through, saving behinds now. Heads out wide to Pickett.
Should have kicked the goal, surely.
Yeah. Unselfish, but they're this far up. You want to share it around. You're not going to lose from here. O'Brien. Chips one to Danny Frawley. It's all the way up to half forward now. Out wide, too wide for Thornborough. There's the great Troy Luff. Thanks for the kind words, boys. Good fly from Lawson. You were a star, Luffy. Bit of fun to give you some love. You deserve it. Creswell goes inside. The collect from Chapman.
Still is a star if he's still going.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Bailey around the body. Bouncing ball. Rolls past them all. So the biggest margin of this one, if you've just joined us, was 51 points. It was 48 earlier in this quarter.
So there's 9 minutes on the clock. 41 points is the margin.
Yeah. Kick it. Brunton.
And Swans with possession, controlling the tempo.
Thornborough.
It's an ordinary kick.
Oh,
touched off the boot, wasn't it?
Must have been.
Bailey, de Burke, still keeping it alive. Creswell gains about 20. Thornborough collects it. And the big unit from Glenelg just hammers it towards half forward. Creswell, laugh or Rose going the wrong way. Bad move.
Still doing it, Ruckman, aren't they?
Bailey caught. Greg. He's launched a barrel and it's all the way home.
Oh, Greggy.
Dean Gregg, 2 in a row.
A glimmer, a flicker of light at the end of the tunnel.
You could play for 15 years and both of those goals will be on your highlight reel, Dean Gregg. One an impossible banana and he's unloaded a barrel from, well, we're not quite sure how far out he is, really.
But off one step. Beauty. Oh, sharing drinks. Ian Kreza.
Wow. So 2 in a row now for St Kilda. From 48 down, and Higgins to half forward to full forward now as it rolls past Minton-Connell. Collects it. Tries to hit the hot spot. Overcooked it a little, and Pickett takes the mark. Suddenly some belief in the Saints players. Danny Frawley running off half back again.
Chalking up the stats.
Is he what? Low. Bays trapped it. Flicked it back out, but O'Brien was waiting for it. Heads to the pocket. Plugger. He beat the 2 of them this time. Oh, and he lets Hepburn know.
Good stats, aren't they? Yeah. Back then, they're big stats for a full forward. 13 kicks, 11 marks. Just didn't quite get in front, Derek, there, did he? Just heart wasn't in it, I don't think, Rui. Nor would mine be if I was standing 5 metres in front of Plugger.
So he's lining up for goal number 8. Tony Lockett.
Oh.
She struck it well.
That's amazing.
Never in doubt from there. Casually walks away and acts out. I've done it before. We're righty, boys.
Amazing thing about that is he actually looked to pass it off as he was walking in. We've seen some great goals kicked. Some absolutely brilliant goals kicked, but this was the one that ended up mark of the year. Bounce 1. Bounce 2. Mickey McGuan running backwards to the wing. Bounce 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. If you don't mind.
Unreal.
That's amazing, isn't it?
What a finish.
7 bounces. He was running backwards out of the centre, defensive side of the wing, and kicks it on the run from the forward pocket.
Split the middle.
They don't make them like they used to. Be nice to see that happen again. Thornborough takes the mark on 50. Players got a licence to bounce that off them these days.
The trouble now is you'll have someone coming at you.
Yeah.
The way teams want to come forward with their defence, you don't get that time and space anymore.
So Wayne Thornborough, 21-year-old in his first ever AFL game from Glenelg.
Oh,
He's got some sky into that. Straight over the goal umpire's hat.
And we just saw goal of the year in '94. I'm not as convinced by mark of the year. Now, we know that the great Gary Albert's done some amazing things. But if he controlled that at any stage, I'm not here. Slaps it with the left hand. Whacks into his guts. At no stage did he have control of that, but that was mark of the year. I've seen him take much better marks than that, proper marks. I don't think the judges got it right that time.
Hand to God, mate. Hand to God.
But the marking definition does say controlling the football, doesn't it?
He had it mesmerised. Higgins.
He was a freak, though.
Bays. Back out to Higgins.
Tell you who'd be spewing about that is Purdy. Gary Purdy. Underneath mark of the year when it wasn't even a mark.
Daniels to half forward. Crunch. Granny's taken him out. Foad a little knock on. Kelly. Wade Chapman. Shanahan has done a really good job on Minton Connell since quarter time. Packett thought about the kick. Pulled it late. Back to Kelly. Back to Lawson. Pokes it back towards Wattis.
I haven't seen too much vision of David Grant play, but from watching this game, I can understand why St Kilda people talk the way they do about him.
A lot of courage, and I tell you what else, he was an exceptional mark for his size.
He's fearless.
So Jamie Lawson gets a chance to stop the rot here.
He was only a mid-sized defender, but he could take some spectacular marks. Good ball use of Scotty Wattis.
Oh, yeah.
That is a dart.
Racked it up in this game for sure.
To stop this comeback from the Saints, to stop them from having any chance of coming from 51 points down. From the 50, has he got enough on it? Goal square, 2 Saints, they could have raffled it. Shanahan pulls out the winning ticket, heads wide, on the run. Gregg's had a huge quarter. He launches it. Too far out for Lockett to get there and kick it. Well, he's kept it in for a split time. He's been taken out.
Lowy.
In the meantime, Higgins. Wow.
He must have been lippy this day because there's been a few of them chasing Derek.
Frawley gets under it. Wade Chapman.
Good mark.
The 18-year-old. Back toward half forward. Lazar Vidovic backs back. Grant was there. Kelly tried to turn away from Burke, but lift doors closed on him.
Oh, that was red hot.
No prior.
Who won the Brownlow this year? 94. Was that Scotty Wine?
No, that was 92, Scotty Wine. 93 was Libber, I think, was it?
93 was Wanganeen.
Oh, Wanganeen. 94.
Creswell heads back. Kelly won it the next year. Wade Chapman flicked away by Winmar. Collect on the move was smooth and a bounce. Ducks back onto his better side. Hits Shawlace out. Fuller run now, the Saints. Thornborough gathers his own crumb, caught by Luff, flicks it back. Creswell, boundary line there if he wants it. Oh, you bet he wants it.
Diesel.
One of his 2 Brownlows.
Diesel.
And probably should have had 3.
Yeah, what was the one where he missed out?
He's a little unlucky. He only had 43 and kicked a couple or something.
Wasn't universally loved by the umpires, was he?
He gave them a bit of lip.
So ball up here. Saints are coming off a week off. They had the bye the previous week. Swans are coming off a hammering at the hands of Carlton at Princes Park. Saints have won the last 7 against the Swans coming into this as well. Ben from Keogh. Has he got that?
Oh, yes.
Rod Keogh, the moment of his life.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming now. Stand by. They are coming.
Rod Keogh, one of Warney's absolute favourites.
Oh, really?
It was 41 points moments ago at 17 points.
Be nice if you were one of Shane Warne's favourite players, wouldn't it? Rod Keogh. Only love Rod Keogh.
Are you one of his favourites?
I don't think so.
He loves the Saints.
Plugger was his number one. I think Rod Keogh was number two. His all-time favourites.
O'Brien blasts it. Where's Plugger? Just eludes him. So did he like the battler warning, did he? The pretty boy, Nick Rewalt, didn't quite do it for him?
He would have ranked pretty highly, I suspect.
Yeah. Mind you, you have been to the man cave. Has Keogh been to the man cave?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And the blondes do stick together.
That's true. Even those that aren't natural. From the flick down. Shaw got a wobbler. Lockett. Here we go.
Around the corner, Jace.
No. If there's any angle, he'll kick. Oh, get out of the way, Derek. What do you think you're doing, son? No, this is a regulation drop punt. Now, a large percentage of current day players have kicked this around the corner.
Getting a little nervous, Ronald Dale. He's gone to the phone.
He's got plenty of angle, Plugger. Drop punt, mate. That's his specialty. Finely tuned. Oh, Plugger!
Yes! Suck it, Jason!
How good's that?
The modern player.
Oh, Mike Willis is starting to look a little worried. It can't be 11 points already.
So here's the Lockett journey. What a career it was for the greatest of all time. He's the GOAT when it comes to goals, and a full forward that won a Brownlow. That tells you something.
Yeah, he's an absolute ripper of a bloke too. You love being in the team with him. He just had that sort of aura about him. He did it all. Absolutely did it all. Hall of Fame. The greatest. And we're seeing some of the reasons why.
Yeah, so enjoyable to sit and watch this.
So the Saints have kicked 5 goals in a row in this last quarter. 2 minutes left. Lockett has 9. Daniels gets the Swans forward. Minton Cottle, they need a hero now, the Swans, to settle it down. Oh, Chapman thought he had some space. Peckett shut him down. Wakeling gets back. Chapman, little roller. Gee, behind would have been handy. And they don't get that.
They just need one goal to settle.
One.
Just one.
Had some chances too.
Yep.
Behind would have been huge. Slap forward. Shanahan feeds the handball to Burke. Clock's ticking though. 1.5 minutes left. Heads toward the wing. Great grab. Thornborough, who's played one hell of a game in game 1, gives it to Burke. Goes long. Where's Plugger? Lowe's down there. Ball to the back. Chance for Greg. Got there. Feeds it over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Plugger slams it through. Oh, they're a goal from the lead.
He's tried to decapitate those that were giving him a little bit of grief behind the fence. He kicked a low, thumping barrel.
That would have taken someone's head off.
Too good an opportunity to ignore. He's been copping it over the fence, so he said, have some of this back. Bang!
Oh, wow, they saw it coming
They
too.
all ducked.
They saw it coming. He's had some important touches, Dan Gregg, too.
Yeah, hasn't he?
There's Ghost carrying the water. Familiar faces.
So Plugger's got 10 at this stage. They've come from 48 down in this last quarter. If they win it, it'll be the greatest last quarter comeback in the history of the game. Burke gets it on the boot. Ton of time left now for them. Gregg dives in. Wheeler knocked it towards Higgins. Couldn't break free with it. Luff. Creswell. Hack forward. Where's Plugger? Plugger again for number 11.
Oh!
And he nearly took Kickett's mow off.
Imagine if that had have connected.
That was Gregg again, I think, getting the kick in.
Just wasn't quite there, Derek. Watch the swinging arm here.
Oh, we need to see that again.
Ron Barassi, in his 477th game as a coach, knows there's nothing much he can do now. Lockett's got 10. This is for number 11 and for the lead. They were 51 points down earlier in the game. 48 points down earlier in this quarter, and he has slotted it with ease. Swans.
He's a worried man, Barras. 41 points up with 9 minutes to go. And they're now a point down. Can you believe that?
22 seconds left, and they lead by a point. And the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the Man Mountain, Tony Lockett.
Oh! That left arm could have taken Derek Kickett's head off, who had a bit to say as well.
He's kicked the last 3 goals of this game, Tony Lockett. From the ball up, seconds start ticking. We're down to 20. The Swans need a miracle now. Lewis was nearly there. Foad got on his way. Ball comes to Spud. Danny Frawley hit the boundary line, Spud. And the captain rolls it towards the line, and precious seconds tick down.
Perfect kick. Perfect kick, remembering there was no deliberate out of bounds then.
And the seconds keep ticking here on the ball in. Vidovic. Saints fans that have made the journey are about to go off. Snapped a little further forward by Bailey. Siren sounds. They'll be talking about this one for decades to come. The legend of Lockett and the SCG Steel.
You couldn't believe it. Look at the Swans players.
There's Fly.
Fly, what are you doing out there? 41 points up with 9 minutes to go, and they got beaten. That's extraordinary. Devo's out there.
Bevo. Now, good.
Absolutely right. A lazy 11 for Plugger to get them home. 4 in the last quarter. And they win by a point.
He's getting some good airtime there, the Fly, is he?
Oh, loves it. Just loves it, the Fly. He beat everything.
Do you like watching your old team?
Yeah, I do, because these names reverberate around the entire club. Lockett, Harvey, Lowe, but to actually sit down and watch an entire game, when you didn't get to play with these guys, but you've heard so many stories, and they've been really enigmas in your time at the football club. I've only met Plugger a handful of times, so to be able to sit and watch an entire game and understand why they talk about him the way they do, it's great. It's pretty special.
You wouldn't have experienced that at the end either, would you, where the fans can actually run onto the ground post-game?
No, not post-game, no. I only experienced it once, really, my whole career, and that was when the G-Train kicked his 100th in a prelim.
They run on.
So Warney has tweeted in his favourite Saints players of all time. Do you reckon you've made his list?
Well, he snuck me into the list, which was nice of him. But, he did tweet it in. So he's got Lockett, Keogh, and then in no particular order, he's got myself, Hamill, Baker, Hayes, Milne, Barker, Spud.
Milne makes a lot of people's list, doesn't he?
He was an excitement machine. Absolute pure entertainment value. He was very, very good to. Probably gets underrated in the small forward conversation, but that was a lot of fun tonight. I really enjoyed that. That was the full Tony Lockett experience, wasn't it?
It was. And look, that's what he gave St Kilda fans most weeks. I just can't get over how you lose when you're 41 points up with 9 minutes left on the clock.
Sarah Jones also watched it. Sarah, you've watched plenty of footy as a Bomber fan from a kid. What did you think of that one?
Oh, it is such a treat, isn't it, watching the great Tony Lockett. And we have had a great night tonight on Fox Footy, Friday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by the Ford Ranger. Plugger had everything, pure skill and class and so much theatre, and we really got to enjoy that this evening. He is in our zero key moment of the match, and it is that infamous hit on Peter Kaven. He wasn't reported. He would receive 8 weeks for this, and really, when you look back now and modern football has changed so much, this is an enormous hit. Jace, do you remember at the time what fellow players thought of that incident? Because now we look at it and it does seem so crude, but at the time, what was the reaction?
Yeah, it's hard to actually remember back that far, but those sorts of things, those big hits did happen. But when it was Plugger, it probably... It was just going to hurt a little bit more because he was a monster of a man and he had such power. Do you know the thing that was amazing about that game? So they've come from an impossible position to win. Plugger's kicked 11 and didn't get the 3 Brownlow votes.
Who got the 3?
Paul Kelly got the 3.
Wow.
Plugger got 2.
Gee, you full forwards were hard done by, boy.
He's kicked 11, 3 or 4,
Yeah.
kicked a couple out in the full.
I'll tell you the other thing. He almost gave it away. If that swinging arm at the end there had have connected with kick it, he might have got 16 weeks.
The other story tonight was really the crowd getting stuck into Plugger. They didn't like him today, but boy, they would come to love and adore him when he would don the red and white for Sydney in years to come, and of course play such an important role in their grand final history with an epic preliminary final tomorrow on Fox Footy. We are going to see another brilliant preliminary final, the 1999 prelim between Carlton and Essendon. Don't miss that. That is at 1 p.m. But coming up next, the Chief is taking over. He's off to bounce.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox.